Okay, running a little late, but I'm against the debate, so I guess it's not really going to matter in the end. So tonight I wanted to do a modification off of This Week in Stupid. But didn't want to take it, copyright infringement. Don't want to quite be like Sargon, especially since the Turkey Tom video on him, which is quite an interesting watch overall. Don't know if people really want to get into it, sort of nitpick it for any of the perceived faults or not. I got in the playlist, got quite a few things in my playlist that are right now because Turkey Tom actually had something out there that I think is the only thing worth mentioning. And there is a certain thing with Grums. I guess I should lead with I really, really don't like this one particular interaction he had with Dell, the guy who Ubisoft stuff. I bookmarked it somewhere here. Okay, let me load that up real quick. Having different accounts sometimes has its fault. So got a little bit of Mugen Lord, and let's see if Timon is gonna be around for a video that he sort of sent to me, and I wasn't really gelling with Arch this one particular time. Okay, let's start with the Twitter insanity. Okay, there's plenty of stuff. Drums went all on Flintlock, you know, the game that got put on the Sweet Baby Inc. list, also on the DEI list, DEI detected list. Fine, fine. Kimball is associated with it. But Crumbs is going on and on about all these rumors, rumors, rumors. It's rumors. Don't treat it as fact. You want to be suspicious of this game? Go ahead. Do it. Be free and merry there. So we'll start with a little bit of this. Grums called you woke, so therefore his audience doesn't have to be polite or try to argue in good faith with you, Dell. Keep that in mind. I'm sure his followers follows do. And they aren't going to be kind about it. I don't know why I put that kind part in quotations. Just, they're not, I don't think they purposely try to exploit people's empathy and fairness. Oh, that's a left. That's a leftist trait. I'm probably slightly on the left because my main concern is fairness, honesty, okay? And I'm going to call out some of the brain rot of the leftists out there when I see it, when they're misrepresenting something. I try to be fair, try to be honest. Maybe it's stupid. Maybe this is why they've given up. But I have a legitimate concern about ethics because morals, I'm tired of leftist right, the religious right, the woke, whatever you want to call the leftists out there. I'm tired of all the moral grandstanding going around. I'm always going to be morality, not morality, against moral grandstanding and moral shaming and all that bullshit. So, of course, my alternative, because I want to have a sense of honor, I go with ethics. I go with the fact, try to steel man what I can, and even if I think people are stupid or being dishonest, try to have fun with it. That's how I roll. So, yeah, this whole interaction, I am surprised about that one of these people on the left came out and tried. Crumbs tried to twist this. Dell just was like, dude, I'm tired of you just twisting my words. And of course, a fucking Grums tries to argue with him. Probably the worst thing he can put out, and he's getting some fucking horrible, horrible ass things. And of course, here, this is my opinion based on what you said. Trying to use the "this is my opinion" is a little bit of a bitch move in my opinion. Okay, but that's that, and this is this. I like this little back and forth. Okay, I don't know who Grums thinks he's fooling. You can't create a moral panic as he's done and not expect people to go on the attack, especially when he frames his opinion like this. This is no fan of Gamergate, blah, blah, blah. This is a liberal woke developer. Why do people conflate liberal and woke? Yeah, I know it's the leftists going mask on, okay. I think some of these rightoids are a little mask on themselves, hiding their attention. Can't prove it with people like Drums, but the whole thing about the trans bullets, I found it cringe. Supposedly the people on the left just had some facts that it was just a bug and blah blah blah, but that seems to be pushing. And there's no myth. This is no conspiracy theory happening in AAA, and you, the people on my side, were right all along. Okay, that's all the time I'm going to spend on this particular matter here because why it has some relevance. Yes, you can dwell on it, or you can do whatever you want. Okay, take it for what it is. I take issue with the harassment. Maybe everyone has their own sort of line for that. But yeah, you have the whole Turkey Tom stuff, which is quite interesting of a perspective on Sargon. So let's just get a few seconds into it because this is interesting to see how this comes off to a commentary. And why am I not getting sound? Is it my own audio sort of fucking up? Do-do-do, do-do-do. Phone. Okay, yeah. Oh, I okay. We're ready to go.
Exclusively online platform into a real-life political movement. He was made fun of for this, but didn't relent, and proceeded to register a website for his activist group, The Liberalists, supposed to represent the principles of British classic liberalism. The whole platform quickly fell apart as only 2 streams were ever made pushing for it before Sargon himself discontinued it, even if not officially. However, this wasn't the end of his political aspirations. Later on in 2018, Sargon followed his friend Count Dankula's lead and joined the United Kingdom Independence Party, or UKIP for short. While it was a very small party for most of its existence.
Okay, but supposedly there was something left in something. Also, there's also quite an interesting take that I want to bounce this off on. Good old Tachyon Blue got crowd on his stream. Okay,
doesn't operate. In what way is he
I disagree with him. I think
he doesn't want to tell you the truth or anything like that. He doesn't want to report anything. He wants a group. He wants a group of people he wants a movement. He deliberately wants to create a sort of movement. And he provides rituals, more or less, for people to follow him.
What's the ritual?
Well, listening to his mad ramblings.
Okay, he's talking about his concept of the culture war and why people like, he thinks he has the hot take that Sargon converted a lot of Gamergate sort of people into rightoids to follow him along. And maybe he's true. Maybe he has the backings to do it, but he spends a good amount of this debate about Gamergate talking about Sargon.
So it's just the performative nature of it, basically?
Yeah, look at this stuff. It's just this creepy like
in the anti-SJW community? Yeah, I remember. I was on the
yeah. Then
I was on the fight them side.
Yeah, there were people who like Sargon and what was the name of that blonde bitch? The Canadian.
Hey, language.
I really hate
Lauren Southern, I think.
Lauren Southern. Yeah, really hate
My thoughts are complex on her.
Lauren Southern was in particular like this is something that it's weird that people forgot that she was like the one. I think a lot of people don't notice behind the scenes in the private chats. She was the one hardest pushing for like the most deranged alt-right people you can imagine, like Jared Taylor and co, to be regular guest on Sargon's podcast and shit like that. She's insane and it's sufferable.
And it's funny how she sort of came out against some of the bigger names like Paul Joseph Watson and so a couple of others. She sort of earn the ire of the right and left at the same time. Not quite a centrist. She's become more moderate since her great replacement stuff, which Kraut brings up. And I really think she gets too much flack for that video. I mean, yeah, I think it's a bit bad. It's a bit conspiratorial. I can understand why people believe it, but overall, it's just tough. It's tough.
Like she was really deep into like the white nationalist shit back then, and yeah, there were people like her, and then there were people like you and me, I guess, who, well, I don't know if I can speak for you on that behalf, but like I just felt really uncomfortable with all these Nazis being.
See, they're both Gamergaters. Both these guys were Gamergate. Tachyon Blue here, I think he was a mod. He did some live stream. He even talked to Sargon a bit back in the day.
Other side, like literally Jack Posobiec, he's one of those far right grifter guys. He got his whole start because of this video I made criticizing him basically. But I criticized him for the thing that got him his start, which was he actually, remember Rogue One, Star Wars Rogue One?
I haven't watched any of the new Star Wars movies since 2015.
It's worth checking out. But
really,
yeah, I would say
really
it's one of the few
no
good Disney ones.
but
he basically he made his career off of this fake
overrated in my
campaign
opinion.
he made called #Dump Star Wars, and he lied about the movie. He claimed, "Oh, they're putting anti-Trump scenes in the film. We need to have a conservative boycott of Star Wars." I don't think it was like a successful boycott. Like Rogue One, I think was like one of the more successful. Was I think successful.
I mean, it was a competent film before I went all to shit.
But he basically lied about the movie, and so I called him out on that.
Tachyon Blue.
The thing that really bothers me is that I failed. Like the thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to turn sort of anti-SJW YouTube into anti-alt-right YouTube, which might have not been a good goal to have in the end.
Yeah, it's sort of stupid.
That having yourself defined by what you're against is generally a bad thing, possibly.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel really shitty for failing.
What I'm going and why I have an issue with the
people who
anti-woke.
I talk to do not bring this up.
You stand for nothing.
It's such a weird
You'll
thing.
fall for
They don't
anything.
bring up the divide there, or was it like what did they not bring up?
Okay, this is going to be mostly boring.
Yeah, no, it's
okay,
like
sorry.
ever since I've moved on with my
good
channel
stream. Understand Kraut a little bit rambly.
The people who I encounter from the
views.
cultural sphere.
I disagree with Kraut on many things, but well, he got outed for that sort of a server trying to dox the alt-right. And I don't know the details of that. Foolish man. Okay. Let's bounce into I got plenty of things in here. Hell, there's even a fucking looks like I heard someone joke about in a Discord. It's real. Vosh and J-Rags discuss the deaths of centrism. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a joke stream. And just to let you know, a good old Ant-Man is going to be doing another Star Wars film. So look out for that. It's doing streams in preparation for that. So what do we have here? Okay, I am concerned about these leftists actually being smart. There's a couple of them that seem to be sort of playing the game. You call it dishonest? Think about tactics over actually truth of the matter. So Mugen Lord is finally, well, he's probably a recent video. Some people are probably going to disagree. I agree with him on most matters, okay? Except for I have a more nuanced take on what is that game now? What is this particular game? The game is Shadows. AC, Assassin's Creed Shadows. People are thinking it's DEI. I'm sure that's a plus within it, and plus means better. I think just when they were developing the game, that whole Yasuke craze was starting to come out. Had the book, the Netflix thing. He got shilled everywhere. So they're like, yeah, this goes along with it, and we're hopping on this trend. Let's get the trend started. We're going to have a game with it. But Assassin's Creed has become a shadow of itself. So you got to have something. I think it's going to be more successful than, it's probably going to be better than Valhalla from what I hear about Valhalla. But that did have Kim Belair of Sweet Baby Inc. involved with it. And she talked about that with the AC, Assassin's Creed Sisterhood, and went over that a while ago. Quite some horrible ideas within there. But let's get on to this video.
Are becoming more and more fucking annoying to me. The anti-woke side and the woke side are fucking annoying me because there's no sense of nuance. There's no sense of case by case to actually sit down, analyze, to pretty much see what it is, or sit back and say, okay, is it
devil's in the detail? And let me speed this man up because don't want to take up all his video.
Is this worth the fight, or is this worth the battle, or should we take this win and take it for what it is? We won the battle, but we didn't win the war. But let's take this W or whatever like that. So we also got a lot of grifters, people who don't understand anything that they're talking about, especially when it comes to gaming and everything. A lot of fucking tours on both sides. And the reason why I make this video is because the straw that broke the camel's back was this particular tweet that I posted, which we'll talk about right here and discuss, that really started to annoy me. So what happened was we have
he's taking John Delarose way too seriously. Dude has been a troll since his fucking days back then. Hell, he might have gotten more serious. I really don't know how to take him. I want to call him a troll, but he's not quite that. Okay. It's just really odd. Okay. And he did win the legal case when people called him racist at the science fiction award crap years ago during the sad puppies bullshit. So good on him. I don't think he's racist. I just think he's one of these up and coming people who have been growing, probably in response to social justice, which I'm calling just church justice warriors in response. And I'm legitimately concerned about that, especially with people like Matt Walsh around, okay? And yeah, earlier in the video, he brought up Synthetic Man. I don't think he's a Gnostic Synthetic Man, but I think he's another person who's going to really hurt the anti-woke side, just calling everything woke and having some extremely out there takes that even the commentary community has been jumping on lately. Small little nuggets here and there. Don't go that far. Do not go the full BS route. Never go the full BS route, okay? Always a mistake optically and intellectually even. Shit, you make your side look like clowns. Like a lot of the leftists who have these really weird arguments that really most people can't get on.
But we have also an indie comic creator named John Delarose. Now, I used to watch his content and stuff, but then he started going to the shilling territory, and some of his stuff be off base. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped really watching his content. But he had made a video, and I watched the video, and this dude was completely wrong, completely off. You can tell he don't know shit about Zelda at all. And he decided to weigh in on this culture war shit where it was not even necessary or needed. See, the title of the video says, Nintendo full girl balls. Zelda exposed as employees push DEI.
Not going to go over his debate with Words of Paradise Leon, but I was there for a good chunk of it. Quite funny, and he doesn't even care about this. He's just a good old Christian boy with some Christian values that he wants to push in the media. There's a little bit of mixed messages, but yeah, calling him a grift, trying to sort of capitalize off this, I don't think he would even deny that, okay? He's not someone to be taken too seriously. Even if he's not a troll, I think treating him like a troll is definitely probably worthwhile. So you can go over this. Everything Mugen Lord says here has value, okay?
You have one side with an anti-woke that actually say no. Like, I don't mind the inclusion of this and that and this, that, and the other, or whatever like that. As long as it's done right, as long as it's not pushing, as long as it's not forced in my face. Then you got the other side, when you actually start to peel off the layers from people within our camp, when you start.
Yeah, probably like the trans bullets things that Grums died on the hill of. Also, the whole fucking Sweet Baby Inc. stuff. Everyone fucking tried to find some sort of cope to make it like it's not completely bullshit. Not complete bullshit, but mostly bullshit. Okay.
Start to peel it off, you start to hear their language. It's like, no, these motherfuckers don't want women in games, period. They don't want people of color in their games, period. They don't want any of those things. They just want white characters, or they want to just have themselves represented. And these are the people that we...
I don't know about that particular thing here. Synthetic Man, that is the way he comes across. John De La Rose is actually fully or partly Hispanic or something like that. I don't know. He can go to one of his videos. He goes with Hispanic, I believe.
do not want on our side, because these are the people voices are that's going to be amplified. And then when people from the outside see these people, they think that the whole entire movement is that. And when these are minorities of people, and these people need to be called out. And that's the thing that...
Exactly. Bad actors in your own camp, you got to call them out. You got to get them straight. Demian is one that I really dislike, but that's because he clickbaits and does this daily shit. Maybe if he slowed down and took some time to actually articulate and not just jump on everything right away, like saying Sweet Baby Inc. in the very beginning of all this was involved with Fable. I have a stream where I get down to the brass tacks of that, and I found out something interesting about Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, going down that rabbit hole. And in reality, it got some social justice type people in it, but Sweet Baby Inc. see no connection on Fable. Not saying it's good, just the attachment to Sweet Baby Inc. seems like a little bit of fake news.
irritates me about this whole thing. You got so many people that's coming within our side, that's coming in, grifting, saying shit they don't know what they're talking about. And another perfect example, we talked about Street Fighter 6 on my one video where I talked about is Street Fighter 6 woke. And the thing that really bothered me the most was you have everybody calling it woke and stuff like that. And I wanted people to look at Street Fighter 6 and look at the history of Street Fighter 6 and its characters and everything like that in order for you to before you just jump into your conclusion. And one thing that really got me was they said that, they wokeified Chun-Li. They said they censored Chun-Li.
Yes, context matters. The history of the franchise matters. Did they go directly against the lore, the previous history, like fucking Doctor Who's gone off on the rails on? Or are there just little nitpicks like black people on the posters and Dead Space and a trigger warning? Okay, yeah, a little cringe. A little bit of woke washing, I will agree with that, but does it affect the story at all? And the whole modern sort of design of characters, I can see the argument for the uglifying, but I think people see it everywhere. Like, I think people are laughing at Grums for talking about the new Lara Croft chin thing. Okay, not going to have a take on that, but I definitely know that's a very nitpick thing to really try to find the woke or TEI in that particular case there.
They fully clothed her in because she don't have her original outfit where her legs are exposed and everything like that, and they fully clothed her. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Did you not forget Street Fighter Alpha? Chun-Li has been fully clothed in many iterations of her character. The Street Fighter Alpha series, the tracksuit that she has, one of my favorite costumes in Street Fighter. I love the fuck out of that costume because that actually shows her actual figure, shows the muscles in her stomach, shows the muscles in her legs, her buttocks, and she's well defined. And that's one of the best outfits that she has, and she's fully dressed. And this person coming in here acting like that Chun-Li has never been fully dressed before and calling Chun-Li woke and her design.
Oh yeah. Also, Dev's sort of deep dive on Stellar Blade. I'm wondering how people are reacting to that. Because fucking hell, nudity, skin showing is not the only thing. Strategically place clothing. Dev brought up a point that I personally agree with. I don't agree with all of Dev's takes, but lingerie, sexier than just a nude woman. Well, it's a sexy assistance, okay? Especially for some women who aren't designed by Korean video game companies. Koreans love their beautiful women, and you gotta love them for that, but their game design is rather simplistic. Same with their stories. Nothing wrong with that, but you take the good with the bad.
I woke because she's wearing clothes, and that goes to show that this person probably never played Street Fighter, but this person is coming into a community that he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about and spewing out nonsense, and I had to even correct him on that. And this is what I'm
Yep,
talking
yep,
about.
yep.
And then let's not forget about the whole
Plenty of these
other thing.
clowns all
Have
over the
people of
place.
color only. That's where it also brings in.
Oh
See,
shit, he goes
you
directly
would
to the
think that
point.
the woke side would be happy that plus size women are represented in anime and stuff like that, but no, they wasn't happy.
Yeah, I didn't know about this because not really my thing. I mean, I don't like these sort of fetish bait animes. I respect them. Fair enough, fair enough. This is a very good point here also.
Guess what they were upset about? They were upset that there wasn't a plus size woman voicing these characters, but instead there was a nice petite Japanese woman voicing plus size female characters.
What about Goku? He was played by a woman. The voice actor for Goku, Kid Goku, I think even adult Goku was a woman. Did they complain about that? It's historically established. Fucking Bart Simpson. Hell, the Simpsons in general. The whole Apu bullshit. Some Indian guys, it's a racist caricature, and that is complete bullshit when you look at in the context of the series. Yes, he has the stereotypical, but the Simpsons just got rid of him. Even though when you take a look at Apu, he's the most outstanding citizen. Everyone else in the fucking town is fucking idiots. Okay, Apu, yeah, a little bit comical, a little bit silly, but a good businessman, a good person overall, and probably one of the most relatable characters in the Simpsons period. But yeah,
in the anime. That shit sounds fucking stupid. It is the most stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard before.
Yeah.
They were actually upset that there was no plus size people, plus size women voicing plus size characters. And that's where it also brings in.
Yeah, you want the best voice actors for the best role. Okay. Fuck off with that shit. You want the best person for the best role. If they can be diverse, fine. Opening up the pool to more, not limiting yourself. That someone needs to know the identity, okay? And hell, I'm not even totally against writers going to, like, white writers writing a black character, going to they shouldn't probably be writing a series focused on black characters. You know, you can get in trouble that way. And frankly, it's stupid. Sort of like my thoughts that typically women writers can't write men characters very well. Same thing with men writers. They tend to do a little bit better with female writers for some reason. Probably just because there's more male writers, because that's sort of a field that they tend to go into more seriously, literally. Not literally, a literary field.
This whole thing, the race and physicality, for characters, for when it comes to voicing characters, which is the most stupidest thing that you can do. And actually, that puts more minority the earth.
Don't care.
Because for the simple fact is, I'm in the same camp as you guys. When I see this stuff too, I don't jump to conclusions right away. I go in, I do a deep dive.
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm not in the camp with these leftoids. Okay, I just think facts shouldn't actually be out there. People shouldn't jump on this rage bait. Okay, I'm in it to win it. Okay, I don't like the leftist ideology. Okay, identity politics. I was an old school Tim Pool fan, and I legitimately like Occupy Wall Street. The progressive stack just sort of destroyed that particular movement there. Okay. And I think it was just slowly used to give cover for all these. I'm not saying what Star Wars keep going with races. Yeah, there are races there, and they hyper focus on them. And there's probably more who's sort of LARPing along with that. Third-party trolls who aren't probably even racist, but they get the kicks at pretending to be racist and just fucking with people. You don't know the truth on the internet. Anonymous nature of the internet makes it really hard to tell the good from the bad people, and who's just LARPing and who legitimately feels all this shit. Who's joking and who's serious. Fucking blurring the lines is annoying as all shit. But you got to look at the optics and how it's seen by normies or the other side or even your own side.
Break it down. That's why it takes time to make my videos, because I don't want to just go out there and just fearmonger you guys and just throw out a message just to get you guys all riled up and upset just to be wrong. I don't want.
Yeah, you're wrong. A lot of people just wrong and just keep on moving on. Don't clarify. Hell, you're fine with being do your research and get things right. Half my problems with Grums is he gets a lot of shit wrong. Have my problems with some of these new I wouldn't call them grifters personally. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Who knows? Who cares? None of them just will go with anything that sort of supports their side, even if it's found out later to be bullshit. And there's a lot of cope and confirmation bias within them, which is natural. I'm still going to give them shit about it because I'm a little bit of a shitter.
To be that YouTuber. That's why I take my time to craft out my videos to make sure that the information is correct, to make sure that there's some nuance here. There's a lot of you guys who just jump the gun and just say shit. The same thing when it came to Tekken 8.
Yeah, there seems to be no standards for YouTubing, okay? Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. I think it's overall something that's gonna hurt people that don't sort of hold their own communities and their own thought processes with any sort of credibility. I don't think it should be regulated because regulations suck, but people should sort of enforce this sort of mindset and not just go with the crowd, okay? Research for yourself. Don't just try to super chat it all the time. Occasionally it can be funny, but don't do it all the time, okay? Don't consistently do it and just ignore your mistakes because they start building up and you'll get on a track record towards becoming a lolcow or something worse. But I also have a stronger root to the commentary community that says accusations are not evidence and they'll hold your feet to the fire. They haven't held my feet to the fire because I'm careful enough, okay? Except for when I'm being a little bit of a satirical little thing.
Before the game came out, there was a screenshot where Lily was talking about cultural appropriation. Then all of a sudden, people started talking about, Tekken 8 just going woke, this is that and third. And guess what I said in my tweet? Guys, this is just a screenshot. The game is not out yet. We have to wait and see until we actually play the fucking game to find out what it was about. And then
yeah, and sometimes it's parody, it's comedy, okay? You can have woke characters and still be politically neutral. Woke quotation marks. You can have characters who have that sort of mindset. It's how they're presented within the story. Is their worldview supported by the story, or does the story go against the message they're putting out there? That all of it, a portion context that you really need. Okay, and goes into
a lot. We started to get a lot of that within this community and stuff. And then also, we also had other grifters where we talked about the Dragon's Dogma 2. We talked about the character creator in Dragon's Dogma 2 when it was first revealed and everything. And then you had this one person within Twitter who was saying, if you think Japan has gone woke, you will be mistaken. The Korean design on the left is Eve from Stellar Blade. The Japanese design on the right is a female character from Dragon's Dogma 2. It's almost the same comparison as East versus West. And then with this dumbass or this person was actually just trying to rally people up and grift and everything like that,
why not compare that to the character creator in freaking Dark Souls? You can create some really fucked up. Hell, a lot of people do runs with their Shrek-looking motherfucker. That was a sort of meme within the Dark Souls community for a while. Hell, still probably there. Get good, folks, okay?
You see the community notes. The thing is, this is a character creator. A person created the character to look like this on purpose just to create outrage and everything. And a lot of you woke, a lot of the anti-woke, there's quite a lot of you who actually didn't do research and just jumped the gun and actually believe this nonsense. So you have people in our own camp that's taking advantage of this just to spike outrage, fearmonger, and just to get clicks. And a lot of you guys fall for it every fucking time. And the community notes had to come in. And then the person doubled down after they got exposed for trying to get clicks and raid farm out of all this. And this is what I'm talking about. But the thing that really got me the most is that when we talk about when we talk about Eiyuden Chronicles, Eiyuden Chronicles is an indie JRPG that's the spiritual successor of the Suikoden series, a series that I've grown up with for a very, very long time that I really enjoy, love the fuck out of it and everything. And the thing that really upset me the most and really bothered me the most was because of this one particular character, and we're going to get into that in a second. Eiyuden Chronicles, and mine's still in the class, compares the black female protagonist in Eiyuden Chronicles to the tribe in Suikoden 3. What is the problem here? Some inspiration was taken from these designs. So your gripe is that she also lacks sex appeal. Now, that's the thing. Even though I always talk about women with sex appeal and attractive characters, not every female character needs sex appeal. And as long as she's still aesthetic, that she still has a great design to her, she still looks beautiful or has something that's going on for her, I'm all for it. She don't have to be like Eve, where she has a nice butt and nice bust and stuff.
Yep. And it's all about the context, what you want your character to do. Like, fucking hell. Talking about how bad the characters on fucking Starfield was. The characters on all Bethesda games have looked like shit, okay? If that's not a woke thing, that's a Bethesda thing. And they're looking as best as they have in Starfield. And it's still rather very off-putting, okay? As a Bethesda fan, yeah, I can say that. I don't stand them too hard, but at least I give them a fair shot. Hit them in the hit them when they did something wrong, but some of the criticism, well, with almost all games, people will always find a reason to be contrarian. Hell, there's some channels that completely do that. And I came across a Salt channel recently that introduced me to a new one. Not really going to do that now, but here.
As long as he has a nice design, I'm perfectly fine. As long as he's not butchering her, hitting her with an ugly stick, I'm perfectly fine. But when it comes to this character in Suikoden, and this dude saying that the character lacks a sex appeal, and then they were saying that that this black woman was given a Wakandian like Wakandian look. That's some most ignorant shit that you can possibly say when it comes to this character or whatever like that. And the thing is, I even point out,
yeah, every woman is Wakandian. Fucking hell, the brain dead stuff that gets sort of floated out there and replicated is the telephone effect. Yeah, hell, I even informed people of this post that a lot of the hate came just from a 12-year-old quote from one of the localizers, and also a line from the actual game talking about are you sure the rock golem is a fucking he? No shit, Sherlock. Rocks don't have a fucking gender, okay? They don't replicate, okay? It's a it, okay? Made life magically. And if the caster gave it a gender, fine. Sort of like the whole Vivian thing from Paper Mario. I don't give a damn. It's a blob. Let the trans people have the gender fluid character. Fucking hell. It's not even a main. Is it a main character? I guess they do become a part of the story. Oh, fucking hell. Just seems like he was talking about this earlier. What's worth fighting over? And some things aren't even worth mentioning. Like the one Japanese person talking, asking Square Enix about freaking Sweet Baby Inc. Okay, why are people running with that? Because slow news week, nothing else to talk about. Best thing, Rosary Warrior, Church Justice Warrior, John F. Trent had to roll with, I guess. Fuck, it just seemed like really pathetic thing to report on. Okay. Someone asked a question to Square Enix, shareholder or reporter, I don't even know. It's Japanese.
That Suikoden always had this tribal design. This tribal design that you see right here, that I'm showing you right here, there was always characters, and they were all either inspired by Native American or African culture in the Suikoden series. So all they did was just take something from the original and just put it in this game. And they had an issue with this. And this is why I talk about tourists from the anti-woke side. When it comes to this, they just automatically see a black character and just assume that it has to be fucking woke because of what the design looked like. And the thing that irritated me the most was also the fact that they was criticizing her hair, saying that her hair was fucking ugly, that her hair was disgusting and it had ugly design and everything. And I'm saying, wait a minute, this is a black woman.
I love the afro, okay? And that's not even that bad. That's styled rather well for African style. It's the animification of
fucking disgusting. That is fucking picture. Ugly. That's beautiful. That her in her natural form is the most unattractive thing that you've ever seen.
Okay.
This is where we're starting to actually draw the line. We're starting to go crazy with this whole anti-woke side. And there's a lot of people who's using the anti-woke side as a shield to actually exploit their fucking racism. And that's what I'm not for. I'm not for that shit. It's not everybody within the anti-woke. And this is another thing.
And some of them are doing it ironically, okay? You got to give them some people. Some people are just doing it because they've been called racist so long that they think acting like a racist is a funny. I don't think it's funny. Fucking hell. But That's just me. Okay, I'm not going to call those people racist. If be like, do you really think whites are better than blacks? That's a racist. If you think someone of a certain race is superior to the other, races are different. Okay, we're all different. We're unique little snowflakes, believe it or not. Okay, who the fucking care about the differences? It should be the similarities we should concentrate on.
I don't want you to confuse my message. I'm not saying that everybody's like this, but these people are very vocal within the group, and these people are going to destroy any and every momentum that this group has and this movement has. As
yeah, that's. I don't even know if Synthetic Man's racist, but dude comes off that way extremely. Okay, he's just plays into it. I think he's just playing into that crowd. See, racist or not, does it actually matter? If the end result does result in him catering to racists, I don't think it does in the end. So I can't say he's racist or not, but you don't need to in some cases.
long as they're the ones that's speaking for everybody, because this tweet went around by a lot of people, and there's a lot of Suicune fans who went in there and attacked them. I attacked them because this person had no idea what the fuck they're talking about, because they never played Suicune. They only know about Euden Chronicles because of it's the most recent game. So they never played all the old games in the past on the PS1 or whatever like that, in the PS2 or whatever. So the moment they see a black character, all of a sudden it's deemed woke or whatever like that. No, this has been a traditional design ever since the original games. It's just they just brought it over to Euden Chronicles, and that's what bothered me the most. Is because there's a lot of people out here.
He goes in a little bit too deep in the detail. Oh, let's see. We might disagree on this one because I had a whole stream on this particular thing here. Actually, no, he had a whole video on this.
Is another one that the anti-woke side, and both the woke side, is definitely not getting here when it comes to Angela, or I think it's Maria or Angela. The Angela. Now you look at this side. You look at it and said this is the non-woke side, and they gave her makeup and everything. And I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like, both sides are missing the point of her character, because these people don't know shit about Silent Hill, so they go in there and they see a fucking ugly character or ugly design, they automatically assume that, oh shit, like she must have been beautiful before, or whatever like that. Let me go in there and fix her. This is the opposite. You know how the social justice warriors would say, let me fix the character, then they make the character bi, or they make the character overweight, or they make them a person of color. This is the opposite of that. Now let's take this character and now let's put.
Yeah, this is extremely insane. They did this with the Fallout. It gave the main character big ass. Okay, and they did it with Hades too. I don't know how the quality of the game. I'm not going to play it. All the people were there seemed to be some information, but they were fixing the artwork. There's a whole bunch of other bullshit with it, like using the artwork from the original and representing that as Hades, the new artwork. I forget all that. I mocked them with the fucking sort of fixing stuff of Uzaki-chan. Okay, that was cringe to me. Everyone fixing. Go back on my channel. Though I'm not even a fan of Uzaki-chan wants to hang out. It's cutesy little anime. Not really my cup of tea, but I memed it for a bit because it was like a symbol. Like, fuck you guys. Okay, Zaki is hot. Okay, she's not a child character, you fucking dumbasses. But I had my whole arc there. Okay, and maybe he'll disagree with that. Hell, I just probably would disagree with him. I do agree that if this is the final product for freaking Angela, they're fucking not listening to the fans. Okay, you can make her a little bit more bloated. Okay, but you see her in another shot, she does not look this bad. You should fix this. Okay, they fixed it almost all of Sonic. Hopefully they'll take a look, and this was just like marketers getting material and just pushing stuff out. In fact, I found out from Mugen Lord's video, or someone's video at least, that there was a criticism about the main character Silent Hill 2, escaping me at the moment, main character, where someone was complaining, and where I did the little stream going over it, where someone was complaining about all the sort of different looks of the main character, who's eluding me right at the moment. I want to think Ethan, but that's Resident Evil 7 and Terrible Village. But that's besides the point. Supposedly, originally, he's probably going to go into it. Originally, the original development team wanted to age up that main character to age with the audience, and Blooper actually fought against that, which is an interesting little fun fact that I'm pretty sure it was Mugen Lord video that I learned that from.
put makeup and beautify the character. But that was never the point of this fucking character in Silent Hill 2 at all. This is a younger woman who's made to appear to look like an older woman because of the abuse that she has been through. And every character in Silent Hill 2 is crafted in such a way with.
And the people are sort of compensating for Angela now. Like, she doesn't look too bad in that particular shot there. Could be the angle, could be the lighting, that she would probably be closed off and be a little bit of an overeater. I do agree the face does not match that body, but that could be some sort of anorexic thing. I think they just fucked up with the face.
These details, they're metaphors for a lot of the psychology that's in this world and in this universe of Silent Hill 2. And then you have the woke side saying, oh, she's completely fine. They like she's like, there's nothing wrong with her. She looks perfectly fine and everything like that. But no, they even fucked up the design. The Silent Hill 2 design, they fucked it up for this character in the remake or whatever. So they didn't depict this character. If you scroll down, somebody else did a better job. This is the better job. This is how she's supposed to actually look. They gave her a round face. She looked kind of like a.
Okay, I think that's a little bit too extreme. I think a little bit of the mixing between this design and that design would work. Okay, hell, maybe sort of a age, have her with new technology, have her slowly get more decrepit, sort of like how the environment goes. Okay, slowly turned her from, well, again, the initial pick is horribly a design that really needs to be fixed, but slowly merge her into this sort of character. I could agree with that assessment there.
A fucking man. At the same time, there's her original aesthetic, her original look isn't there. But somebody who had redid it, perfect. This is a perfect example of that. But this is the stuff that really irritates me about this side, because there's no nuance. There's no time to actually sit down and calculate this stuff. And when it comes to the whole Stellar Blade, and I also want to say this to you guys about all this. The whole thing about this whole culture war, and we're starting to fall into this trap, is that, see, the woke side, they can't think for themselves. They need other people to think for them. They all got this hive mind. They have this echo chamber. But the anti-woke side has the same thing. There's an echo chamber going on. There's a hive.
Yep, absolutely. My main problem. And a lot of these people are just fucking verbatim going off of fucking church justice warrior John F. Trent. I found out something interesting from his bio. He's a founder, Bounded in Comics, and a chief and editor at That Park Place. Very big representation of the whole anti-woke movement, at least for a certain subset of people growing at a good rate. Everyone on the hypnotic streams and other things like that. Not everyone. There's a few people who sort of give some pushback, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay.
Life mind going on, and there's a lot of you guys who are looking up to these content creators, who's looking up to these social media influencers to make decisions for you and to decide.
Nice. A little bit of shitting on Grums. I can always fucking approve of that. Okay. Yeah, I guess this was an optical mistake of him. Maybe he's gonna run cover for him. Okay, I'll hear him out if he has a defense for Grums. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. We'll see.
For you, stop putting these content creators on a pedestal, because they're only human. Don't even put me on a pedestal. And when the whole Stellar Blade situation had happened, when it came.
Yep, agree 100%. Don't put these fuckers on that. Think for yourself and don't just let people tell you. Okay, don't tell them that they're destroying your media, because the shoes on the other foot. They'll put people in power if they get in power, which I don't think is very likely. I think we're going to have to deal with just sort of watering down the woke and take the wins when we can, okay? And vote with our wallets to really hurt them, okay? Parallel markets. As I said, I don't fuck with the Eric July. I don't know if ISOM or any of that sort of universe is going to be good or not, but conceptually, a parallel market, that's how you do it. And by being a reliable content creator. Okay, maybe all of it won't have the high quality of some of the people who really hype up their other shit, but you need to keep the fans happy, and you can't fucking be a perfectionist in this field, okay? You need to do the best you can within the time that you need, okay? Go in with a plan, go in with the funding, and just completely compete with these other things. head to head. Okay, it's not going to be an instant thing, but someone's got to start it. And no matter how you feel about Eric July, love him, hate him, he's trying to do that in the very least.
Came to the censorship and stuff, people were like really confused, and people were hitting up my DMs. Mugen Lord, what should I do? Like, the game looks really good. Eve still looks beautiful and looks sexy and looks badass and stuff. I still want to support this game. I still want to play the game, but they also did some censoring of.
Also, this is not the most important thing. Beauty, fucking hell. Why the fuck? Video games, yes, you like aesthetically pleasing, hot women. Women probably like the hot guys. That's how anime rolls for the most part. Okay, it does fairly well with it, but it doesn't have gameplay element. There's a lot of tropes that anime fans are varied on. Okay, it's not about the looks. Not even about the censorship. They fucking cry censorship at the littlest things. Sometimes it's sussed out, sometimes it isn't. Okay, what is censorship even? Again, the whole dev video, not something I'm going to get into, but I want to highlight his sort of thing where he comes up with this theory and presents the evidence that fits the pattern that maybe Shift Up was told or got or realized in the last minute with the first patch that they might be at risk of being sued for copyright infringement on some of the outfits. So they wanted to change it a little bit here and there. Who knows if that susses out? Take it up with dev. It's just an alternative view that I think should be considered.
The game, what should I do? And I'm like, why the fuck are you asking me? If you want to play the fucking game, play the fucking game. I'm not the arbiter of the culture war. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a guy with a fucking opinion. That's all I am. I just give you my opinion, and all I want to do is inform you so you don't look ugly as shit. Situation here, man, that'll be sad. She looks like a woman. Appease anybody. I'm going to say what's on my mind, and I'm going to give my opinion. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm not here to kiss anybody's ass.
Yeah, my opinion can be wrong on this shit. His opinion can be wrong. Anyone can be wrong. It's the dipshits who wants to tell you they know the truth. They know the details. They are fucking, they know it, but no one else. They're saying people are complete bullshit in their mind reading some of these woke people. I don't even get these woke people. I want to know how the woke people think. Try to get in their head, know thy enemy, but just fucking hell. The way some people go about it is complete cringe. And with all that said, here's going to be my hot
when
take.
I am weaker than
For
you,
the night,
I ask you for
I'm
freedom.
going with,
because that is
we're getting
very
into,
probably fine. Don't incorporate it into.
oh, gee, I'm going to get my shit probably for this, but Arch, I cannot agree at least with his title or his really rhetoric within this. Maybe I'm reading him wrong. Okay, let me try to good faith this and I'll bring this shit up. Okay, also, might get a little bit of a, yeah, let's go this. Gonna do the invite.
To your world, the end, it really is that easy in relations to the not at all orcs of new Dungeons and Dragons. So why is this appearing now? Why is this a plea? Why is this plea for tolerance from the intolerant emerging now? Well, it is because the left is very much so aware, as is everybody else, that their cultural hegemony, their absolute dominance, is coming to an end. And extraordinarily swiftly as well. There has barely ever been any example of a political force that has been so utterly dominant, collapsing so quickly as progressivism in the mainstream. It has.
I don't know about this. I do see the shifting tide, and we're not going to see it for a while within video games, guys. Okay. Sorry to say, games are getting put in development. Hell, Disney put a halt to a lot of titles, or a lot of people, like the Batwoman show got canned, and there was a lot of things that were just worked on and sort of went up. Timon, did you want to invite? Okay, going over this shit. I'll send it out. I know you're a big Arch fan. I've never gone over Arch, and oh god, I can agree with that. Okay. Okay. There you go. In case you're free, yeah, good time in there. Went over Mugen Lord, and he had some good stuff to say that I could almost 100% agree with. You know, I can disagree with him on some details here and there, but it's really up for discussion. Okay, that's discussion is an important part of this shit.
Taken barely 10 years for it to go from a position of with a mere accusation of not being progressive.
Oh, we have Tiamon, big fan of Arch here.
Well, more so, I'm the one who sent you the video.
Yeah, and I would rather argue with you in here than DMs because that's just how I roll, man. Go
Well-
line by line. I can go.
Let me
Instead of
let me
just-
say the I had precursor dates plus Rumble did not get mysteriously cyber attacked prior to the Rumble in the Jungle tonight.
Did Rumble get attacked, DDoSed, or some bullshit there?
Right at the start of the Rumble in the Jungle, apparently Rumble entirely had a whole flood back in DDoS.
Oh, fucking hell. People are
Basically,
really.
well, it's a theory because YouTube had that whole panties in a wad.
Yeah, let's not get too much in the debate. That is some crap. What Mugen Lord just brought up. Don't jump on this and don't say anything. Well, you can take a look at it later. Maybe I'll mention it later. But yeah, we fundamentally disagree on this, I believe. So what was your takeaway? My takeaway is, yeah, they're losing. Okay. So we shouldn't give them any quarter. We should just treat them how we were treated by them. And I think that's fundamentally flawed because we should be graceful in victory. Okay. And he dropped, but his internet probably just went out. So yeah, he might pop back up. We'll see how that goes. Internet issues. Maybe he got DDoSed. Okay. But I'll go over this. My thoughts is, yeah, he's going on this whole rant in the beginning. We got the win and shit. I agree in part that you shouldn't give these people power if they come in the community, but they're so fun to fight. Find the enjoyment in fighting with these people and don't give them any power if they come into your communities. Okay. The sort of neutral, we should have a fucking sort of neutral arbiter of this, actual legitimately non-partisan person to sort of dictate these fucking rules. And we got him back. So I went over my whole little shtick where I assume your internet went out because
I just logged into my StreamYard, so
okay. Fair enough.
plus I
But,
need
yeah.
my avatar, so
Oh yes, your Arch standing avatar. But yeah,
No,
I
it's
went over
the-
my
it's
whole thoughts on this. I think he's partially right, but the way he's framing it is the not being a gracious winner. Okay, not having the tolerance. Okay, you can be tolerant. He fundamentally just doesn't understand the tolerance for the intolerance. Okay, you pretty much have to rule them until they learn. Okay. And you need to be careful of who you get power. Okay, get good as Stark Soul diehards do. Don't give power to people you think will push the direction in either direction. If you're talking about from the community, from the corporate level, seems like a lot of things are screwed. Your thoughts on it?
well, you've known my stance on I do believe that. See, the little history, right? The thing about like when Arch's audience, I think it's like, see, I recently I'm considering a breakup with a YouTuber because he harassed a friend of mine, but also at the same time, the man has shown his bias and his content's becoming unwatchable. But that's a subject matter I'll have to share with you.
Yeah, just because I think this is a bad take from Arch does not really make me think less of. I completely understand his perspective on this. I just vehemently disagree with it.
Let me explain this. This is a big deal, right? Like I kind of knew what we were dealing with in Gamergate. Like I sensed the shift because at the time, let's see, when did I start doing more competitive Magic? It was like 03. Like I was like bigger in there going into like
yeah, Magic Wizards of the Coast is fucked.
like
okay.
2010.
Quartering got blacklisted, and yeah, he's
Well,
cringe,
quartering deserved it, but partly.
probably, but
But that's a story. The saga in that is what Wizards was doing. So I could see when I would go to various stores, I could see what happened to communities. This was really early. I'm not calling them progressives like they wear the skin suits, but we saw this on a nerdum level.
yeah,
Does that
like
make-
in the Gamergate stuff. I've been going over Tachyon Blue, been watching his stuff, even his recent Crowder stuff. A lot of those people were on the more liberal side, okay, actual liberal,
Does
not
that make
progressive
sense?
side.
Like, no, there was literally at one point, and this was pre a lot when you talk Gamergate, and it's funny that people are using the D&D 6th edition with the
What?
art.
There's a 6th edition now?
Yes, this is the 6th
I
edition.
did not even know that.
The Latinx orcs that you're seeing on screen right now,
God.
like if you go through it, like they have a bunch, looks like not gay dwarves. There's how many of them are not straight? That's what D&D.
It's just a picture, okay?
No, I'm just
I mean, they
telling
look
you,
a little bit gay, okay?
This
But
is
gay isn't
marketing.
happy.
this isn't marketing. Like,
Okay.
the thing
let's
about
not
it
get into
is-
the stupid code and stuff. The leftists use this for their
let's
own
get
arguments.
the coding, and it's not the coding; it's the
God.
fall of the hobby. Now, would you get like? Here's the thing: at this point, and this is my argument, has always been, they have. Are you familiar with the meme of the Grim Reaper walking down a hallway, and like,
Oh yeah, that's a very popular one. They just put pretty much someone destroying their properties, okay, or whatever.
like you know, it's one to another. It's like now, WotC, like to be fair, if you take WotC as an example, I saw this more in the store level. I saw this in the stuff. I saw the early part of. I think there was one point, like as a prime example, you could tell like a different attitude was starting to creep into the magic sphere at some point. Like what was starking for me, because I go from store to store, not even like an F&M, or like this was back when it was more. You had a crowd that was like 5 years younger. They would go, I almost got cussed out in a table by a person that was like 5 years my younger, treating me like crap. But from when I came up at a game store, yeah, you didn't disagree, but it's like the product of the 90s, right? But, oh, God forbid you tried to, like, correct the kid. Eventually, the one guy's like, well, you're mean to the kid. But I'm like, I literally almost got told to kill myself and go F off at the table. Sure. Then you started seeing the weird stuff happening. You started to see not the early LARPers coming in. Like the idea, okay, progressives wear a movement like a skin suit. 100 years ago, they wore it, and the conservatives.
I also, okay, I am not going to disagree with you. I sort of disagree with you. It's also shifts in attitude, even in the sort of thing with Kraut. The thing about
okay, let's start off.
now. Hold on. Kraut was talking about how he thinks Sargon turned freaking some gamer gators more right, or maybe his audience turned him right. Tachyon Blue sort of hit him up with that. Like, is it the audience who turned him, or that? It's the sort of chicken and the egg philosophy. But people change. There's certain people who were just nerds, just having fun, and some of them go more to the left. Some of them stay more neutral. Some of them go just to the liberal. You know, we'll still find a lot of the hardcore woke stuff cringe, and we'll find a lot of the rightoid crap cringe. But there's some people who would go even further to the left, and there's people who go to the right as the sort of fandom sort of ages out. Okay, there is an element that sometimes some of these progressives come in and demand things, but they're probably brought in by some of these people who are sort of aging in a certain direction. And they're like, this hobby, I used to like it, but it's like getting racist or it's getting too woke. So, and of course, the woke people would, the more leftists would bring people in to start changing the community. Why? Probably the other people who are more right leaning or moderate wouldn't actually think about bringing in people. Hell, many
See,
of the people on their side probably wouldn't be interested in their
if
hobby. That's
you
how they would
ask,
think.
like, here's the thing, and this is where when you look at the stuff years ago, and I started to notice it was a bigger shift.
So you're thinking it wasn't a shift of, you're saying the sort of shift over years, you don't think that happened too much?
I think okay, so the idea, right, and this is what every Magic player or D&D player should have actually known. Magic players were theoretically the canaries in the coal mine for the
Yeah, I didn't see that, but
you weren't in the era of the game, but a lot of
hell,
us.
I was also in the country. It wasn't country. It was like it was a little bit of a hick
Depending,
area.
I think
Okay.
you told me where you lived once, but up there towards the northeast should have been like a golden bastion. Like prime example, there's like a stores in New York City that get for F&Ms like 50, 60 people, more than that. Sometimes there was one at one point getting like 100. That's like literally a PTQ level of the event back in the day. Now, when you're talking like at a store level, I had some like, bear in mind, like if you ask a lot of the crowd, this is like something like nerdom is, and this is what Arch kind of describes, and I think this out
Is a whole bunch of bitches, okay, who don't know how to deal with stuff,
I
okay?
think it flowed out. Just let me describe this. When we saw the change in our hobby space, yes, because there was a difference. A lot of us may have come from the same community. If one store was bad, you would go to another. I started noticing stores failing when people went. Like my area that I live in, to my knowledge, I have no faith can maintain a local game store.
So
At
it's
least
trickle up wokeness, you're saying?
basically, I don't think so.
Okay.
There was a roaming. They didn't really care. You could beat they get half of them get mad, like if you beat the brakes off of them. Like I'll be honest, like the last game store.
That's always the case in Magic, okay?
No, this is a true story because apparently every store, one guy they would just purpose go around the store knowing where I live and I go. They had like 5 people.
Hell, there was also one guy in my community college when we were playing Magic who would always try to cheat. No one wanted to play with him.
Dude, like
He was basically the archetype of the alpha nerd. No one wanted to play with him because he
people
tried
think
to cheat.
it's not that I
like
was
that.
caught cheating. It's like these people would go around the game. But
I'm
not
not
gonna
saying that you were. I'm saying
These
this one
people-
guy from my community
people would
college.
go like, but this guy here, I'm not gonna play here in this shit. And they started spreading rumors, and I never quite found out who they were. I kind of figured which group they were because I probably beat the brakes off of them when they were pretty much unsavory people in the first place. But you started seeing this attitude creep in. First, it creeped in because Watts themselves are based, as a prime example, is based in Renton, Washington, which is outside of Seattle. We always knew it was a liberal, left-leaning company, and most of their player base was either moderate or conservative.
Okay. Yeah, like I recently watched the Vosh talk to Chris Reagan. That was just wasn't as bad as Orlay with iDubbbz, his beatdown, but it was pretty cringy, okay.
But you're
Wasn't
getting
that
you're getting what I'm saying, right? This is
people move in, they try to fit in. Most people just go with the flow, okay? They go with it and they slowly change in time. And I'm sure
I started noticing towards the end, like there was only a couple of people that I knew. Like one guy that I would play because I would play at the more competitive REL.
who hasn't gone woke.
He actually was like really bad. He got promoted. I knew of people from Texas, and they got promoted to WotC to work for them. And I guess this is back when WotC cared more about design.
Okay.
But the guy was clearly, I mean, it's not that we never had leftoids or like what you call left-leaning people. You always had them. It's like every high school has had
The
that
goth kids and
had the goth
jocks,
kid.
okay?
When you go to a
And the
high school,
stoners, yeah.
no, every
I know
kid.
I know the example. Okay.
You always have
I-
like the punk rocker that wears the skin tight jeans, like that looks like that.
Okay.
punk.
Yes,
Yeah.
fill in the blood. Fill in the gaps for yourself, people. And I want to tell a story before we move on. I really think, Tiamat, you expressed your opinions as well as you can. I have a quick story. Like, I played D&D with a whole bunch of friends. Hell,
Yeah.
our DM was black. Okay.
Mhm.
There was a couple, there was even a Islam guy, although he wasn't too strict in this role-playing group I was in college, just like
Sorry.
5 years ago. It was really cool. Okay, we
Yeah.
really enjoyed these D&D games. We did different things. Then I saw something at like a local bar had some sort of event. So I went up, had a drink and went to one of these things. They were having these weird games. It was like a different world. I went to the most D&D thing where we didn't get to create characters. They gave us cards or some crap like that. And we had like cards, like a trigger card. Like if someone says something triggering, you were supposed to put a card. Long story short, the game went well. We were with some tribal things, and at the very end, when the game was ending, I was like, my character, at least in character, these fucking tribal people. They're like, hey, hey, hey. I'm like, later, guys. Never went back. Okay.
So there
But
was a shift because you saw this shift in like the
there's
see-
also different pockets. Okay. Yeah, I
I'll
understand your
be
whole
I'll be
argument
very
about the
honest.
shift.
No,
I,
there
I
wasn't.
understand what you're saying with the shift.
So when
'cause
here's where my stance starts because way Arch uses an example. You know the quote he uses, right? At the start of the video, you went over
let's just get into the video and we'll
Yes.
get out the details here. Okay, we can disagree. We can agree. We'll see how we really fall when we get to his words, guys. Let's not take the man out of context. Okay,
Go to the
let's
beginning
not
quote.
broad
Go
brush
to
the man.
Start with the Frank Herbert quote that he uses.
No, I'm not starting with anything. I went a little bit along. We're not going to repeat. There's enough ideas here. We don't need that.
Could get people cancelled from public life, get them fired from their jobs and removed from schools to the point where wokeism in and of itself is absolute poison and recognized.
They fundamentally sorry, already from the start. Okay. Give me examples. I want Arch to give me examples of this in D&D. Okay. It would hit a lot harder if you're talking about like the quartering, who you personally think. I just think he's a little bit of a cringy guy, so he probably would have done some cringy stuff to get in trouble, to sort of get out it from this. But all this other stuff, I want examples, okay? People just take this. Their imagination runs wild. Like this.
I wouldn't. Do you know? Okay, in the framing of this video, where you're talking about in the beginning, right? Because the Frank Herbert quote. But that's the part where he starts. Where you're at is if someone back in the day called you a racist, you were done.
I would call them stupid because racism is stupidity. Okay.
There was a
you want to make some sort of a really weird argument. P plus P equals racism, and because I'm white and I'm not being an ally, I'm racist.
Okay.
Fuck off with that. Okay.
There was
I come
a
from the
point,
old school. I have a dream.
yeah.
Colorblind. Like,
yes,
let's just all get along.
But
Revenge of the Nerds. Have the gay black guy go awesome on the fucking thing there. Okay, fuck off with that. But go
the
on.
Part where you're getting into is where there was a stigma, and I ran into this in the Magic Higher RELs. They changed it. Anybody could flat change someone you said to either harassment or discrimination. WotC changed their REL because I'm not going to say I do not have a reputation for being aggressive. But
But
then
we'll
again,
just get you fired. Will it get you canceled?
yes,
We'll just get you kicked out of the community. Okay, I would like examples of this
there
please going
were
into it.
examples back in the day.
Okay, I'm sure back in the day, okay, this sort of what he's talking
Right.
about in the past. This shit did definitely happen. It was a lot harder. You can't find the shit now. Okay, Johnny Depp
It's not.
child
It's not.
completely
No.
fucked over the Me Too
Do
movement.
you remember
Fucking
back?
Black Lives Matter got
Do you
fucked over
remember
when you
how
found out
Anita?
were doing the leadership were doing scams and buying $1 million homes. All this shit is just coming out as just these people are hypocrites, okay?
No,
And
no.
they don't really
Please,
care.
no, Vincent. There's two separate parts. Do you remember back when? I guess because someone I was saying to myself, I was talking with a person today, and I mentioned to her, "Go, did you ever notice after 2008, all the healing in the 90s we did on racism was near reversed, and we started seeing that come back. You started seeing a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
pop
I
up.
agree. A lot of the
Literally.
90s representation even gets sort of called pragmatic nowadays. The pragmatic thing
So
of a willing grace and friends, even though they were
I
trying to
saw.
bring people into the
I will
fold.
tell you, I saw something. Like I saw stores start do the whole shit, and this is really early, prior to Gamergate and stuff like that. I saw the more sensitivity and word stuff coming in. You can't be harsh because this whole part where, oh, but yeah, by far the worst damn god thing someone could label you back then was, oh, you're racist. Like that
Yeah, it's
would.
because these communities had broke from they got too big, okay? People were dumb with how they fucking structured them. They wanted just a big sort
Yeah,
of mob. And it's probably a lot of this corporate
because
sort of greed
yeah,
shit that has these sort of
that's
insurance policies to get as many people as possible.
so that's
And
it's very different. Even in social circles, it was pretty much because I don't know if we're about the same age or you're close. The worst thing is, yeah, if someone said a racial slur, they were probably crap because it wasn't like the idea of that was the easiest
And
card
even when it
to throw it.
evolved into edgy comedy, you would have to call someone, literally direct the racial slur at a particular person for it to be serious. Okay.
Yes,
Even when you get into the edgy shit. Okay. But
and
the edginess was to push back on the mainstream PC culture. It's the counterculture. Edginess became the counterculture. Okay.
PC culture sprang out of the more British side of the aisle, and then it made its way into America. It started probably in the late 90s.
Those darn Protestants or WASP, I don't
Okay.
want to cause a fuss.
So the idea, right? Sensitivity and the political correctness, you can't say that. It's eventually, I wouldn't doubt, like, I am more Generation X than I am millennial. Okay. The ideal, millennials really don't start until 94. Okay. That's when millennial era starts. Anyone born after that was pretty much a millennial. Now,
Okay,
yeah,
what does this have to do with the greater point, Diamond?
so
Okay, I
thing
don't mean
is,
to fuss.
we
but-
have different semantics because in that era, when we were, if you labeled the business racism, you did that. You remember how Anita got in? She goes, it would be a shame. She starts a consulting business. It would
Oh
be a
yeah,
shame,
no,
guys.
it wasn't really a consultant. I mean, it was sort of, kind of. That was later. She started sort of this feminist frequency.
Do you remember
Oh,
she?
I
do
found
you,
out something interesting that she attempted to sort of get attention for other harassment campaigns
yeah.
before it really caught on. I found that hilarious to find
Oh,
out.
no. The whole idea, she actually went to one company, and this is why a lot of corporate boards probably eventually flipped. Because we've discussed about the idea. It came from HR departments. What was the worst thing someone could be said happened in an HR department? Racism or harassment? So you have Anita who goes to these companies and goes, it would be a shame if we get someone calls this game racist and no one buys it. And this was in the early days of social media.
Okay. Both me and you understand this. This has been done to death. Okay. We know about the cringe sort of a grift of Anita and people like her. Okay. I'm trying to bring it back around to this particular thing.
That's what I'm saying. The idea
sort of
what's the worst thing you could say to a company or group? You're racist.
Yes, it was terrible freaking fear mongering from the leftists that started with
what he's talking about. He elaborates.
Yes, and I'm aware of that. So let's move on a little bit more with the video. And
yes,
I'm saying just bringing up this sort of past sort of thing. I would like examples of this be more modern day and people we can point the finger. Because that one person from the original Gamergate thought he could sort of get Cabrutus's Sweet Baby Ink detected sort of off the Steam group, got mad, tried to get his followers to do it, and that backfired. The freaking Barbara Streisand effect, okay?
It's actually
fair enough.
It's gotten worse more now because, well,
I don't know about that. I just know I don't know if it's gotten worse or not.
So yes,
we'll see. We'll keep it with him.
As such, by the average individual. But now that this is happening, we are going to be seeing appeals to our principles. Just people let people enjoy their hobbies. Says the man squatting in the carcass of 40K.
Right after
says the man squatting in the carcass of Dungeons and Dragons. Says the man squatting in the carcass of Star Wars. It is not for you. Not everything needs to be for everyone.
It's not for you. I love that Freedom's quote.
Do you actually understand what he is? Okay.
Yes, I do understand. Okay. And I'm perfectly fine with letting them have this cringe in 6th edition. I don't have to translate to 6th edition. Okay. I can create I can join groups that also boycott freaking any sort of official this, and I will mock this sort of stuff. Not this in particular. It's a little cringe, but not epic.
Now, there is an overarching point that at that discussion, this is where we disagreed in Discord over.
Yeah.
So he starts the video by saying this phrase, and his whole thing is about, in this video, is a plea for tolerance from the intolerant. Now, this part is where you have to understand. The Frank Herbert quote, and this comes from one of the Dune books. When I am weaker than you, I ask you for freedom because it's in according to your principles. When I am stronger than you, I take away your freedom because it is in according to my principles.
Yeah, but what about the middle ground? Okay.
You want
that completely just has the two sides. I can have my space and criticize your space and think your space is this, and we can meet in the middle on some things, but I'm not going to let you bully me, and I'll try not to bully you unless you come into me.
Without that later.
Okay, it's
what he's talking about is the people who are on the ropes, not buying into the fandom. The Doctor Who, like Disney Who.
This is a reactionary position, okay? It's fundamentally this is reactionary. We're gonna just treat you like we feel we were treated in the past, and there's definitely a lot of merit that they were treated like this in the past. Okay, but you sort of take the reactionary. No, we're just gonna do this back to you. Nanny boo boo. Fucking
okay.
Sorry,
I can see that. Because one of Arch's overarching points, pardon the phrase, is actually be gatekeep or be gate kept.
Okay. There is a middle ground. Okay.
He's
not quite a middle ground. You gatekeep the sort of let's listen to the man. There is the middle ground. I wouldn't even call it a middle ground. You can make a space for people of dissentive views,
now,
but not give them any sort of value.
Now, what he is talking about is
Well, we can hear what he's talking about.
The
We're
reason
watching the
why-
video here.
so see what I say.
Okay.
He wants people don't understand. This has been a big thing. You see it from a lot of people. They appeal to your morality to get away with it.
This is why I abandon morality. I go off of ethical principles now. I was going over that earlier. Morality, fuck morality, okay? It's too loose and willy-nilly. Ethics, okay? What are the ethical principles? I think most people should adopt.
This is what we're going to discuss later because this is the part where we probably disagree, but I'll explain.
Okay,
later.
okay, yeah. Let's listen to Arch.
Everyone, if you don't like it, don't incorporate it. You can just ignore it.
But what if it's
This is
the
Dungeons
trend?
and Dragons. This is not something that has simply been created out of nowhere. This isn't something that wasn't for other people. This is something you have claimed from others. This is stolen goods. This is something you have taken from a setting and turned into something different. You have created the Mexican orcs. You've created the horde of gay elves, where you can see every skin color beneath the sun except for white. It is the setting where you have created the dwarves, where the entire point of their civilization is the doom of the dwarves.
Yeah.
Not enough females, not enough breeding partners, a civilization in slow decline.
Yeah,
One
I
is
mean,
baking. See, this is the
This
thing.
is
if you look
is
at that
this
image-
everyone out there? Okay, this feels
If
very
you wanna-
cherry
if
picking.
you want-
Okay,
okay, there's a thing. That
like I
people-
definitely see in this a white guy. Okay, you might
Do
call
you
him a
see
little bit
the-
gay when
you see
you're finding.
Do
Go
you
on,
see-
sorry.
Okay, did you see the picture of the elves? They're all diverse. Most of
Okay.
them aren't straight looking. You look in this
Straight
picture.
looking.
You go and look in the picture of the dwarves here. Clearly, the one working the forge and the one baking cookies are lovers because they have each other's beards tattooed on their arms.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, it's cringe. Yeah, I can accept
So-
it. I can be tolerant of it. Okay, I can
I'm
absolutely
fine
be
with
tolerant
it.
of it.
I am literally fine, like
Okay.
with this. If you've played Baldur's Gate 3, you know kind of the direction they
Okay.
were been going with the world. But the
Okay,
thing
let's
is
go
this-
over Arch's problem with it.
The
I mean,
setting
he-
is
Civili-
the setting.
he's like-
He doesn't feel the problem, and you're gonna see it. He comes from old school D&D. He'll explain it. This is not
Okay,
the
yeah.
D&D we grew up on.
Okay, yeah, things change. Okay, things evolve. Okay, it's just a normal practice. You want something to stay the same. This is why you can go back and play the old editions of D&D. They exist. Okay, they might
New
you might have to
D&D,
blow them off.
Some people call this version of D&D too fluffy. There goes more in the leaks into the stuff, but you see it because D&D went from covers fighting dragons to dwarves baking cookies.
I think what Wizards of the Coast did, trying to take the homebrew and own it, was much more egregious than any of this.
What
crap.
about the
There's
change
some-
in the imagery?
The change in, I don't fucking have to use the imagery, okay? I can say reject the imagery that people are putting out, okay? I think it's a little bit too far. I can be tolerant of it.
Fine.
I don't have to attack it, okay? I don't have to get rid of it. I don't have
You
to
just-
say
you
it's
just-
wrong. I just have to say, no, it's not for me, okay?
Okay,
Go
we'll get
away.
to this.
I don't want to hear about it. Oh, yeah, well, listen to him.
Civilization of tough warriors and smiths, where you now have the man baking cakes and walking around in the forge in his goddamn sandals, which I am sure the flaking pieces of molten metal being smashed off this piece of vibranium or whatever is not at all going to disagree with his bare feet or
Yeah,
anything.
man, mock the stupidity
What
of
even
it.
is this
Please.
picture? Is it a forge? Is it a shop? Is it a bakery? Is it a cafe? Yes, these seem to be sitting eating something. This
It's a picture. Where is this from? Why are you so fucking being autistic about this picture here? Sorry, I'm moving on, but I'm just not understanding why he's putting
This
so much
came
focus
from
on just this
there's
picture.
there's
Yes.
been an overarching there's been a very overarching problem with between what Wizards is doing with D&D Beyond And then
Yeah, you're getting into the details. The details are good. Him fucking hyper focusing on this now, it's just pure and utter
yes, he doesn't
fan
get. He did
rhetoric.
his.
Okay,
He
it's
does.
just like masses see how stupid this shit is, how brain dead these people are. This is just fucking not an argument. This is just like mocking and fucking degrading. Okay, and it's fine.
This is Arch more making
For
the
insult
point.
comedy.
This is more making the point.
It's
and
fine.
he
It's fine.
And he
It's
uses
fine.
he uses his
I
other
just
long form. I know it's gonna annoy a person like you.
long
And
form.
if you are looking for, this is just an intro into this, and I can explain more. It's like some of his positions I can tell you because he's established this further because he does other stuff, so you know what his positions are.
Yeah, we're fucking EFAP this fucking little video. Okay,
You're going to lose all of it because this is what happens when people go with overarch. They don't understand what his positions are. He comes from D&D. He comes from older editions where they fight dragons, and this supposedly comes from the 6th edition Player's Handbook.
Okay, this is just a mocking. This is just entertainment, feeding into the sort of a hatred of what D&D is coming. Okay,
to have
I don't to have a conversation. I don't know how this is a lead into the conversation. Okay,
is a universe that has been destroyed. It is not a simple case of going like, oh well, if you don't like it very much, just ignore it. No, this is something you have ruined. This is somebody's property, somebody's house, somebody's existence, a universe that you have actually degraded into nothingness, that you have ground into a pulp.
These guys don't like IP that they can sell the rights, or was it stolen? Cultural appropriation, I guess. Fucking becoming leftists here, okay? The woke people are colonizers. Fine, make that argument. It's true. It's true. They're cultural appropriating something from nerds.
They don't like what something was built upon.
It's like the Fallout fans who are fucking having a hard time with fucking the fact Bethesda has the Fallout franchise now. That's how I feel about this. Okay, it feels the same way. So they have to insult everything that Bethesda does with Fallout.
I look at the way people handle a fandom. It's honestly how you handle the story and how you handle the setting.
Okay. Bethesda's a bit cringe, but from what I know, Interplay wasn't much better.
No, and this is why I hold up to when someone says Interplay was probably the better brand, I will point you towards Wasteland franchise.
They'll say you're cherry picking, and it becomes some stupid argument. Okay. I just want him to get into the. Yes. I mean, he gave some examples of why he found it stupid. Fair enough. The sandals, the sort of gayness within this sort of thing that might not be contextually relevant. Fair enough. Okay, how does this sort of relate to letting them have their own fucking safe space? Let them be dipshits in this. Because, Wizards of the Coast has the IP. Try to create an alternative and destroy D&D. Is it too tough for Arch? Probably. Okay.
I mean, if you're talking about, it's a further debate you can have about this because a lot of the stuff with D&D it's just the first, but his big thing, his main points have been these people infiltrated a space, a fandom or something. They destroy it because they hate what it stands upon, and then they might blame the fans for it failing.
Yeah, and they lost, okay? Fuck them, okay? The losers, fucking don't be losers, okay? Don't bitch and whine you fucking lost this sort of a war over this IP. Take it back, okay? I mean, I don't know how they can take it back, okay? I just legitimately don't see a path for changing this. I don't think this is any of this is going to be effective.
You're implying something and not creating something new.
I would just try to compete with it, okay? Use whatever social capital, whatever money I have to fucking fight against this in some way and not just whine about you losing it. Yeah, you lost the fucking war. America is on stolen land. We beat the fucking Indians for our land, okay?
In a nutshell, right, it sounds fine to create an alternative system. That seems, for every D&D, there's probably 5 or 6 alternative systems.
Yeah.
But when all of your systems
there's also the alternative of throw your support and make sure that the people you throw your support to know that you're doing this because they're doing it right, okay? And establish and learn from the past. Yes. Don't let these people encroach into your territory.
But yes, there's something to be said to this where you're crossing it.
And he's right. The geeks of the past weren't on guard against this sort of leftist mentality. And
Pathfinder, Pathfinder is not much better under Paizo. Paizo, you still have the Pathfinder covers. You still have it. They're very diverse.
I heard someone pushing a sort of something that was going to be a homebrew, but just
did you know Gygax?
Did
you know Gygax's son tried to start an alternative to D&D, and Wizards tried to sue him off the fucking planet or keep him out?
Yeah, he should have fans should have got behind him and should have freaking supported him in his legal fund. That is definitely an alternative to that. Be like, yeah. Son of Gygax, you do it. We'll support you financially because we want to see this done.
So he supposedly is blacklisted from any cons or anything Wizards controls or is a part of. Mainly does.
Hey, start up your own cons, okay?
Yes.
So I don't know why it's so hard. As I said, think what you want about Eric July's opinions. His artwork, his comic book series, what he's doing is legitimately the right way to sort of fight this sort of hegemony these big corporate interests has. Okay.
Well, when you get through, but there's something to be said. I'm not going to get into the whole thing because I'm not as caught up on it. I'm aware of a lot of what they want to do with D&D. I can understand why people are upset, but I know a lot more than Arch does because Arch only has recently gotten back into D&D.
Yeah, he's more of a Warhammer guy, and sorry, that seems you have to.
He's out of that too. He hasn't really. He keeps up with the lore, but he doesn't keep up with New Hammer. That's the.
Well, I don't blame him. Okay, just pull him. He should put his weight behind some other game system. Has he done that? I think that was much better of a strategy than whatever this is.
I'll bring it up.
It's not even fight. It's not even. It doesn't. I could be reading this video wrong. Let's go over a little bit more of it. I sometimes I'm a little bit unfair with some of my readings, but yeah, he should be at. Just I don't see where he has really a call to action to actually win this shit back in here. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it's at the end. I didn't quite finish it. Maybe he'll has a call to action at the end. It's something that I can agree with.
Yeah. And of course, we're also going to see, weren't you asking the left to just make their own thing? Well, look at them. They're just making their own thing now. They're just making their thing for them. You know, their exclusive space. How can you complain? The time for coexistence has long since passed. We tried that. We tried that for a
You weren't good enough with it, okay? Sorry. Fundamentally, you can create your own space. Him just saying you can't coexist with people who think differently than you. I fundamentally think that's fucked. Simple as that. You just don't give them power. You create an alternative community, alternative system that sort of snubs whatever the corporate interest is and just go on your merry way. Make an awesome community that people will want to join free from this woke crap, okay? Legitimately, that's how you do it. He has the fucking power to do it.
Can I give you a hint? He, if you're not familiar with the infamous Warhammer is for everyone, Arch was behind the pushback to that.
Okay.
Arch
he did a push. He did a push.
Arch was one of the first main.
I do remember him trying to keep Warhammer.
When they started coming down the pipeline, despite him GW, which was an inside job to be honest, very similar to like people joke when we say it's a rogue intern or management. Arch's one major last contributing to Warhammer to saving it was Warhammer Plus. He would, and this is when he had more push in the community post the whole losing his name, but everyone still knew who he was. And he tried. Eventually, and he was able, along with others who took that call right behind him, to do it. But ultimately, due to other decisions from Games Workshop, where you're fighting a
losing battle, okay, you're not going to keep the IP. Create a distinct replica, and if they try to sue you over it like dumbasses, you have the corporate push to pull back on it, and you make a big fuss publicly about that. These content creators don't realize the sort of public they don't need to sort of, this will be seen as an attack, just an attack on people with different perspectives. This is just tactically
outside of you trying to steal.
Okay,
outside of you trying to steal, man. The idea, and something I'll mention later, trying to create an alternative system is shit.
Yeah, you can fight for it. I'm not saying you can't fight for it. There aren't tactics you can do to try to take back an IP. But it's really hard from corporate, the people who own it. You need to have money or social capital.
When you get through this, I can describe what happened with.
In reality, you need both.
I can describe what happened in Magic. It was able to be semi-saved and pulled back, but the damage is still there. But what he's saying but when you say he has never done anything for Warhammer, he's done it at least on 2 different occasions.
No, I didn't say he didn't do anything. I'm just not aware of the full extent of those details. I do know he was fighting for many years to keep Warhammer how he liked it, how he felt the community should be, and he has a right to fight for it in that particular vein, okay? I'm not going to call him racist or bigoted for that. I'm not even going to call him for this because I understand where he's coming from. He's bitter that he lost a fucking long fought war. He's a veteran on the losing side of the war, okay, of this cultural war. And but videos like this just come off as fucking the dying whimpers of a losing side, okay?
Disagree with that.
I'm talking about just from the optical.
This video has been performing very well for him.
Oh, I'm glad it's performing, but what is it? What is the point of this video? Just complaining about how he lost, and that we need to treat those darn intolerant wokies how they treated us in the past. It's not just something I'll just be like, no, that's fucked up, man.
He'll explain it. He does.
Okay, yeah. We're not there yet. I'm just going frame by frame. This is what EFAP does, okay? I'm not going to be as harsh on them. Yeah, I will. I agree. If I just stick on this and take my impression from this particular part, that would be unfair. I'm not going to play it like that. Shit.
Very, very long time. Now we have fully arrived at the paradox of tolerance, the actual one. This much misquoted reference from Karl Popper.
I didn't know.
Unlimited tolerance must lead to the disappearance of tolerance.
Huh?
This I kind of knew. This gets thrown around with. So, okay. The thing is, he starts the video with that Frank Herbert quote. That's why I say that's very important to understand. You're now having the people inside these companies that are getting sacked. Like, there's been a lot, like when I covered with Gray with the layoffs at Hasbro, a lot have come from WotC and inside some of the design teams for D&D. So they've gone down to this niche. Now, they are very dependent and they have been suffering for a long time. So what you're going to start to see, from what I have seen, and this is not me being like I get called a culture war, but like I look at this and on an ethics front, and this is what happens. They go, but aren't you conservatives supposed to be for free speech? I'm for free speech until this line.
Yeah, I'm for free speech, okay? As long as you don't do some dirty stuff, then I can use my free speech to combat your free speech. The people who say you're for free speech, yeah, my free speech can combat your free speech.
Basically,
okay? That's how it works. Okay,
basically, the idea is there is the idea from a long time ago. They weaponize your ethics and your morality against you to put you into guilt. But he has a greater example later on how this works.
Yeah, I would like some examples of this and not just talking about how the left fucks, sort of manipulates things.
Yeah,
Stop letting the left manipulate you. As simple as that, okay? Stop using the left tactics, okay? Fucking hell. The leftist actually almost has the right idea. You can't use the tools of the master to free yourself. Okay, I think that's probably dumb as shit how they use it, but has some legitimate thing. Just using the same tactics that sort of got you where. It just seems like it seems like oxymoron. You don't like this sort of woke mind virus, so you're going to adopt your own sort of version of it.
You should learn from the tools of the enemy.
You should, yes. You should know how your enemy you should know how your enemy is going to strike you so you can counter strike. Okay,
know the tools of your enemy and learn how to use them.
Okay, you're not gonna, it's the whole sword and spear method. Okay, you that might be a bad thing. Not your shield and Gamergate didn't quite have the effect. I mean, it got Crowder, it got some people over to the side of Gamergate. It seems like
there's an overarching there's an overarching argument about the
Arch has overarching argument. Okay.
But it's that it's the theme that these people are trying to appeal to the morality, either to use it against you, and it comes out they're unethical people that they just will destroy you or keep you out.
Yeah, just move past that. Be like, that fucking is stupid, okay?
But your
logic breaks apart, okay? Don't try to fucking use logic against me. You're fucking twisting the shit. I'm using ethics as they're presented. It hurts me sometimes, other times it'll strengthen me, okay? Ethics.
So it's kind of like what he's trying to the whole thing is to plea from the intolerance to the tolerance from the intolerance is a theme that is they're like, but you guys are anti-cancel culture. Why are you trying to cancel us?
Yeah, don't try to cancel them. Just be like, I'm not trying to cancel you. I'm just talking about your bad ideas, okay? He's not talking about any, he's ratcheting up the rhetoric. This is just purely
This is a bad intro video. This is a bad intro video for this.
Or a great rhetorical, people should do this, okay? And maybe if he ratchets it down, okay, we need to get through this section. I mean, I have a legitimate, I just find the rhetoric of this just
he's very much
unsufferable.
He's kind of
well, he's European, so fuck off.
He's Norwegian, but
yes. It annoys me. But it annoys me when leftists do this shit. So of course it's gonna annoy me when Arch goes on to this. So.
Absolutely, correctly. But unlike what it is often presented as, Karl Popper was not talking about fascists. He was talking about socialists, but of the red variety.
Who cares?
I do not imply that we should always suppress the utterance of intolerance. As long as we can counter them by rational argument and keep them in check by public opinion, suppression would certainly be unwise. Now, the left actually managed to get around this very, very cleverly by taking the values of the dominant culture by public opinion and weaponizing it. It began with, oh, hey, you don't like racism, right? No, of course not. We're in the 90s. In fact, we're pretty much on the precipice of solving racism. Oh, fantastic. Okay, so you must be an anti-racist, right? That's a strange term, but I guess, yes. Great. Here's a long list of all of the various suppositions.
Yeah, stop falling for their fucking gobbledygook. Stop falling for their fucking pseudoscientific theories. Research this stuff. Just see, this is what I have it. These people obviously just listen and believe. Never fucking listen and believe. The leaders of this movement who could have stopped this back in this hypothetical thing Arch is laying out, they could have been like, okay, you bring us this anti-racism. Let me read about it. Let me research it. Yeah, this sounds like race. This almost sounds like racism in reverse. Okay, I'm not on board with it. But it's, yeah, I don't care. We're not fucking scientific. We are geeks, okay? We're trying to enjoy this game. This is gonna make our enjoyment of the game just fucking. We can't have fun. We can't be creative with some of these rules, and they're just gonna keep getting more and more. The way he's framing it makes the people who just let these woke people in seem like complete idiots. It seems like they Darwinism in reality. Okay, why just accept this shit? Okay. Why did people say
I'm not going to disagree with you there. The thing is, you were asking a lot of people in spaces because there was a point, a lot of hobbies like D&D, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, stuff like this was niche. It was to appeal to a gamer in a group before broader people move in. You see it. It is weird the Japanese have been able to resist the co-op.
No, it's not weird that they can resist. They have competent people who think about this shit. Okay,
yes,
even
but
in their geek space is very militant. Are very. They've always been sort of against.
But here's the thing.
I don't know why geeks of the past. I think they were just shamed by attractive people, and they just put down the geeks of the West are just too weak. Okay.
So the thing, the idea is the Japanese are slowly getting influenced by the changes in the West, but they can see where the car wreck is coming, and some people are fighting against it.
And the ideas they have adapted some of the more leftist ideas in a much more appealing way for their culture. I think their culture. I think they're just used to being invaded in their culture, so they have a sort of mentality, a sort of a mentality of not just accepting what the foreigners bring in, give or take, where Westerners are just so vast that maybe give the leftists some credit. We've just been dominating over everything for so long that when we get invaded on a cultural front, we don't even realize it. That's one of my little crazy.
That's actually
theories,
weird.
Okay?
That's actually weird.
That might have some truth to it.
That's actually
I throwing out some crazy theories.
Okay, that's a theory I have too as well, because I think for us, when we see a cultural trend, our lives move at a very fast rate. Now, if you are used, it took years to see for certain people to see, that. Now, I will say at this point,
and why I'm on this thought, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but I have this thought in my head. Let me get it out. The fact that white people, supposedly Europeans, don't have culture is fucking bullshit. And is the idea I think is really reprehensible. Ethically, it's like the white people, Europeans, since you were invaders, you don't get to have a culture because you were always invaded. Fuck off with that. European had a white culture is a myth almost. Okay, there were so many different sort of cultures. The Italians, I guess they're considered white. The European, I mean, the Brits, who probably are a little bit too wishy-washy, and let's not start a fuss, which probably let some of the more leftists come in. And given that they fucking stood up to fucking Hitler during World War II with the bombing, seems a little bit of a weird thing to me, but let me not get off too far in that tangent.
So when you're thinking, which is funny because a lot of people
accepting that white,
a lot of people already believe in this.
That
myth.
Is stupid.
Have you ever seen? It's a very famous clip.
This is why actually. This is why token being bastardized actually pisses me off more than anything else.
I'll have to find the one video
myth for the white culture and taking that over with social justice.
No, the thing is, someone always said for years that native population. Okay, are you breaking?
Yeah, sorry. Go on.
So there's this thing. There's usually this clip that pops up a lot. Every time someone brings up natives were kicked off their own land. It is, I think it's from either Deadwood or something of one of the popular westerns. They popped up in like the 2000s, and it's legit a soldier. Sitting Bull is talking to a general trying to get him to move, right? He goes, well, I'm fighting for my lands. And then the guy lists off, didn't you steal those lands from X tribe and this tribe? Didn't they do this? Why didn't you go kill them for it? And it's like Sitting Bull's taken back. Now, this myth that every nation ever settled, Europe, Asia, everywhere, wiped out their natives.
Yeah, that's a little bullshit. I mean, it's a little bit, it's the past. There's a whole bunch of bullshit. Some natives adapted better to being conquered and sort of integrated. Other ones sort of, did just get wiped off of existence.
Remember, for
a shame, but
little bit of history too. The Celts started off in Germania, which was Central Europe, before they got to Ireland. The Druids came from, Gaul.
Hell, people think the Native Americans back in the day came from Asia, and they came across the ice. And the Asians supposedly became the Native Americans by going over the ice bridge millennia ago. And this is how we have Native Americans over in North America.
So this myth that everyone forgets in history, that every land is either colonized, and when I was taught in history, and this is very different than what kids are taught.
And the people who got there first just colonized it from the land. What really gives them property?
Manifest Destiny was not a good was entirely very both good and bad. We committed the same sin that every other nation in all of history has ever committed.
People just want to focus on the grievance against their identity group, against the last person who got something stolen. But those people before them probably stole that. It's just a cycle until someone creates sort of a nation or something strong enough to fight against being invaded. Okay, that's
something.
The cold hard reality. Okay,
I saw something
else. People want to make a system that's much more kinder and where we don't have to fight each other all the time. Good, but I don't think it's going to work out. We really think we're the pinnacle. It's just arrogance, in my opinion, that we think but we're getting way off on this. Okay, let's continue.
But now I'll say this. There's an example. It was done by a black scholar woman speaking amongst others. She had a point, and I guess it was a debate style point. She goes, you all ask for reparations from white people, but you don't ask for from the Islamic people and the other Africans centuries before that were enslaving people and trading blacks as slaves from Africa.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a European thing.
Yeah.
This has been going on for 500 years, 300 to 400.
People want to keep forgetting a lot of the slave trade came from Africans sort of selling other Africans to the Europeans. Okay?
Or Middle Easterns.
Yeah, or Middle Easterns. Okay, it's just a lucrative trade. I'm glad slavery is done. This is the beauty of technology.
But this is a history that everyone thinks it's only a modern thing. Europeans invented it. Europeans, for the God's sakes, tried to, like, when you remember with a woman, and now with the we move along.
It's just tribalism is why they go for reparations.
Do you remember the idea?
Are they even the Chappelle? Let me just end this. Think about the Chappelle skit. I think that's the ultimate thing. They got the reparations. Okay, what did they spend the money on? This is from a black comedian. It was like insane stuff that really didn't help them out. Okay, we're getting far off.
No,
I gotta get us back on track.
Do you remember the Woman King? When that
yeah, that cringe stuff. Yeah. Okay. They were horrible people.
Twitter basically said, "Why are you talking about a man who enslaved, sold men, kept the women, sold them off, and the Europeans, you demonize the Europeans who had to come in and end the slavery there?"
Yep. It is odd. It is odd. Selective memory or selective facts.
Selective history.
And presuppositions that you will automatically have to agree with to adopt that label. Most of them are pretty far left, but I'm sure we'll work it out. That is how the left managed to coup so much power, by accusation. Because we did genuinely live in a time where the accusation alone was enough to ruin a man's life and career. Merely the suggestion that somebody was racist or anti-Semitic was enough to wipe them off the internet. And only in the last couple of years or so have we begun to see a reversal of this. And
yes, yay for actual having standards. Okay, I can get behind this. We've come back to a freaking sensible, fact-based society where some people are left behind, like the people who think Kyle Rittenhouse is guilty because of these fucking mental gymnastics people want to fucking post talk. Yeah, after he had all this left people call him a killer and all this, he started hanging out with right people like the Proud Boys. Fuck off with that. You labeled him as that originally, despite the facts not being on your side, and fuck off.
I think the bigger example is Johnny Depp, because
that was the counter to the Me Too movement. Yes, that's what that was the crippling blow. That was like, maybe we should consider the evidence. Believe all women, a little bit bullshit. We shouldn't do that. We should look at the facts. We should look at the evidence, case by case basis. Mugen Lord in his last video was bringing up this fact, and I 100% agree with him, although we might disagree on the details. See, as long as you're agreeing on the facts together, it's fine. It's when people want to manipulate the facts that I have a problem with. Okay? You can have different opinions based on the facts.
Vincent, I saw a video, and it's by a great channel of like two kind of older, like one's like a middle-aged black.
Of course, you would like that older.
I don't know. I see.
I'm just fucking with you.
No, I came across it just in random YouTube. It was a Twitter thing that led to YouTube, and I watched it. He basically said, us as black people were lied to by the people the George Floyd case. And he goes into a whole thing of the other cases were wrong. I started looking into this.
Yeah.
And it was like, because he actually flat out said, and it's other people, he's mainly a black content creator, who said that man had enough fentanyl in him, he could have killed over dead. Right there.
That is a legitimate sort of theory. Is it the truth? We'll never fucking know. There was too much confusion in that, okay? Okay, I'm not going to say for sure that theory is more legitimate than the one that the jury went with.
4 years. It's been that 4 years. You occasionally
they had two autopsy reports and that were in conflict with each other. Just reality is fucked sometimes in cases like that. And I feel if that was the case, the police officer still should have been trained better. This is why I said defund the police was always retarded.
Yes.
Obviously, these police officers need better training. They need to be treated better. So they need to be trained better so they don't do this sort of shit. Okay. Because
they
you
also
have 4 guys.
They didn't understand that the guy was tweaking out. But the big deal, the overarching narrative was an accusation immediately that Derek Chauvin and all of them murdered the guy. But the guy's in prison and it's not going to get reversed. But it's not like it's basically.
Does he deserve to be there or not? Depends.
So the thing is, Arch's whole thing is you basically, the left and what we call the progressives, would weaponize accusations against people. They prejudge the media, a trial by media before the facts come out.
Yeah, and that's fucking dumb. Okay, as simple as that. You can call them dumb. You can call them retarded even, okay? Don't live by their standards. Don't accept that, especially since the shoe is on the other foot, okay? But remember the lessons from before. You can let them have their own spaces, but don't let their own spaces sort of take out other spaces. Don't let accusations of racism and sexism phase you. Be like, that's bullshit.
But your accusation,
this is bullshit. Fight against those.
But you don't want their accusations to become the narrative.
Yes, you don't. I agree. Individual, fight them case by case. Bullshit comes up, fight against the bullshit. Simple as that. This is why I see this as just loser mentality, what he's talking about.
When you get
you can fight this shit, okay? You just have to be tough and vigilant. And you have to have a community of people who have a good sense of ethics, who can fight back against this bullshit and not follow dumbasses that I'm not even going to bring up in the section, okay? There's just too many dumbasses. I'm not going to say they're grifting, but they're definitely not smart pushing for their causes. And I think, at least in this moment, I don't think Arch is being smart with this, but we're only halfway through, and I'm getting just a pure radical way. Pure rhetorical nothing of a video, okay? It's just nothing. He's saying things to lead people in a certain sort of a emotion, okay? And maybe that emotion is deserved, okay? But it's not an emotion that I'm going to let consume me, okay? I'm going to use my anger to be like, we just need to fucking be better about fighting against these fucking woke people. Understand them, dismantle them. Yeah, I think, okay, maybe that is the steel man for this. He thinks this. Are you going to tell me Arch thinks this being putting the shoe on the other foot, give them the treatment they gave us, will be a lesson in humility for them? When does that ever fucking work? World War II, we tried to fucking maybe it's a historical thing.
That's not his main point, but that's okay.
Okay. I mean, I can understand that logic. I just fundamentally think that's flawed. That's just it just keeps on cycling around. Yeah, it's like the Tim Pool music video, as cringe as it was.
There's a side to, believe it or not, a lot of Arch's community is like, we're widespread on opinions. We don't always agree with Arch and what he says. It's that it creates a discussion.
Yeah, okay. It's fine if he wants to discuss this. This is why I'm doing this video. I just find this mentality.
You're trying to use that, but you'll see he's better about it.
Maybe he has something. Maybe he has something better.
This is the important part. We should claim the right to suppress them with force if they reject the argument, because they may choose to answer arguments by the use of their fists or pistols. Now, we are not arriving at this point. We have gone beyond this point. This point arrived 10 years ago, and none of us had the faintest clue what was happening. We were all sitting there in essential shell shock. Again,
Darwinism, baby. Why the fuck were you so stupid? Don't be that stupid again. All right, that's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, he's making it like us as a culture, us against the wokeness. We haven't learned anything, and he thinks this is the way to fight back against it. And I fundamentally disagree. Just fucking yeah. Don't be stupid this time around. Okay, fight this shit.
The idea is
pick up the enemies.
He's always been the same point, because, as I said, a little bit of history. Like, the one thing it's about Arch, it's hard to understand and probably get it. He does mix his history with the hobbies and a little bit of the philosophy.
Well, you know the quote I personally like, that I am very aware of, that I'd like to use in this culture war. He who fights monsters should look at it that he does not become a monster. When you stare, when you glaze, when you glaze, I'm going to use glaze into the abyss also glazes into you. Yes, I'm reading that wrong on purpose because it's funnier that way. Okay, that is my. He wants to use quotes. I can use quotes. Okay, and I think that's a much more poignant and direct to the point of my concern with what I see happening against the anti-woke. Because I'm not for the wokeness, but I will take some concessions. Okay, I will agree with them when it's not completely ass backwards. Okay, the non-neutral stuff.
He is about fighting the progressives who don't care about the space and want to destroy it, not for the people who
what progressives get. Sorry, I just really hate the sort of. Let's just keep listening because he's not coming to a point and it's just causing a lot of back and forth between us. Good back and forth.
This point every time. One of the first things I did politically was reading an article called "Tabletop Gaming Has a White Male Terrorist Problem." It was one of the closest squeeze you could ever imagine from the early days of third wave.
Did people go over it and just completely destroy the logic of it? I hope.
No, as part of them, people did. Then part of it, it was literally an article that said, "White girl walks into, woman walks in." It's like a girl or a woman walks into a hobby shop, immediately set upon by nerds with rapist eyes. And she gets
that sounds like fiction. Okay, that sounds like a fiction. Yes. Okay, or her own personal issues.
I mean, I'm exaggerating the article. I'm actually.
I'm sure the article exaggerated the experience from the girl's
basically the girl's like.
Imagine the guy. The reality of it is probably the girl walked in and some geeks like, "Girl, how do we act?"
Yes,
they were probably just awkward geeks not knowing how to handle a woman.
Yes, but it's
that's probably the reality of it.
There
probably was one pervy guy who tried to, do something, and the other guy should have been like, "Dude, cut that shit out, okay? Okay, we want her to, join us, not to fucking be." Yeah, that's probably how it happened. So I don't know. You don't know, but
actually, no. The article, right? Because this is not one of these articles comes out about every year, and it's about some of these people who go into like local game shops and they're like, "I was set upon and treated weird by a bunch of nerdy incels because I was the only woman in the space." And it's like, this isn't the case.
Bring friends, okay?
Game store I've been into, that I've been in, go to conventions. Women, unless it's like a thing, they're not mobbed. They're not there. It's like most guys at these shops, half of them don't know how to talk to one.
Exactly. Okay.
And the other half
so scared to be around a whole bunch of men when you're going into a male space. Bring female friends. You have no female friends? What the fuck? Okay.
And then there's the other half that say, "Come join us. What game do you like?"
Yeah.
The first thing you do, and the article that he's talking about was this feminist person who said she had a bad experience in a game store.
Okay. Tell her I'm sorry that your ideology makes you not be able to enjoy male spaces, okay? That sounds like a skill issue that maybe feminism should work on, okay? Equality, bitch, okay?
Hey,
great and simple.
I prefer the see, you know what's funny when I was in these spaces and
Yeah,
this is
I think there is a more legitimate point to it when when the when the people behind these articles support these people and be like, this is the reality. No, it's not. It's her perspective on it.
it's her perspective. You know what?
It's her issue against sort of geek culture. Okay, it's a clashing of culture. Okay, she should have an obligation to learn about geek culture before she comes into the space. Okay,
Oh, and
that's
there's
legitimately
the other
true.
half.
Okay,
Now
that's legitimately true. If she just comes in like all willy-nilly as a feminist, and it's very, people might jump onto it that she might have did it, like the sort of person, like the one person, the progressive person who went into the Trump rally and came out like it wasn't too bad. Okay, they did a good job in that particular case, or that was some sort of op to make the Trump people look good. Who knows the truth of it? Okay, it's the same thing. You have to go in with the right mindset. And most feminists, if she goes into a space with a whole bunch of guys, she's probably going to go in with a bad mindset, or she probably has some sort of issues that had her brainwashing. It's a real thing. Okay, feminism. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but there's some victim mentality all around. Something I can't approve of. And this sort of thing that Arch is pushing here, this is a victim mentality right here that he's pushing, that the people, the geeks of the past, were just victims, poor innocent victims. Okay,
I disagree with that.
Okay,
but
yeah, I agree they were fucking taken advantage of.
Here's something here's what people forget about who have never been into an actual comic shop or a local game store, which are most comic shops. They
too bad. There's no anymore. You locked down. And fuck you, a lot of things. Okay, there's a lot of things. Not just down accelerated it, but they were on the decline before then. Okay, just to be clear.
Basically, there was a space. Most of us had the rule: don't be a dick, and have at least respect and ethics of some kind. If there was a disagreement,
and sometimes there's a creepy guy there. You need to know who's going to be the creepy guy when new people come in, especially girls, especially cute girls. Okay,
or guys. Every game store had their asshole. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. I told you, my community college. There's that one alpha nerd guy who everyone knew tried to cheat, and no one really liked. Okay, there's a. Okay, let's continue with this.
Feminism, where men weren't merely just being, mean to them, they were threatening rape to them publicly in front of other people, and the other people would just laugh at them like, yes, you threatened that young girl with rape, but isn't that just our bro culture? Lies so blatant, so flagrant, that the only reaction from the majority of us was like, that's obviously ridiculous. Here, let me explain to you why you're wrong. And of course, engaging with the argument in good faith like that was the very problem. That was the issue. That was the in. Because it allowed the argument to be moved into the public sphere and be accepted as a mainstream thing. This was what allowed them to enter into virtually every single institution. The reason why they're taking the word race out of
the leaps in logic here. You remember these two? He's not connecting the 2 points. Okay.
Do you remember when they went after Riot and Naughty Dog? They all said it was because of a bro culture in the place.
Well, I remember Blizzard, okay, and that did seem to be
when they went after Riot.
And I think once Blizzard sort of got a crux with this, everyone just thought that all gaming studios were like that. Okay,
no,
it's just a narrative they set out.
Apparently, see, actually I had this. One of the recent YouTubers I had an issue with recently. I had to explain this to him. I wanted to explain it, but I knew he was going to block me when I asked him.
Okay, get to the point. Get to the point, old man.
They all complained about the bro culture in the place.
Okay,
but at the time,
shouldn't the feminists educate themselves to not be such a poor little innocent little doe-eye? Do they not have responsibility? Okay, Sorry, the people who brought these conversations in public, again, a leap in logic that I'm not seeing the connection from Arch. They just fucking must have failed in this public conversation. Okay, because they were geeks. They didn't know how to. They should have used their money from geekdom to hire someone to argue for them, someone who knew how to do it.
Okay, so the Kotaku article from August 7th, 2018, which led into
private chat it, dude.
Here you are.
You want to bring up our article? Let's private chat it.
Yes, here. This is when we were talking. This is probably where the accusation of stuff like bro culture came in.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's see, because Kotaku is mostly garbage. Okay.
Yes,
I think Smash JT's garbage, but both things can be both.
He is garbage, but he made a video that owned Review Tech USA.
Oh, he went with that. Oh, it's not that hard to fucking own Review Tech. Okay, he's been cringe. I think when he said he respects Boogie and Review Tech, or maybe it was the quartering, that I just was like, dude, you're fucking saying you want to be this. Fucking ads. Okay. Inside of the culture of sexism at Riot Games. Let's see how garbage this is. Let's see this woman. Let's. I'm gonna check her background. It doesn't. A senior reporter at Kotaku. Still, no, doesn't give me shit about her profile. Bears to say anything, I guess. Okay. Now this person has the woke mind virus. They should be considered legally retarded, maybe. I don't know.
This led to a lawsuit inside Riot, by the way.
There's different degrees. Okay. 3 years at Riot Game, League of Legends, Lacey. Okay, we concentrate on Lacey. Is this a real person even, or just a figment, a sort of a amalgamation of women at Riot? I don't know. Maybe she should be a little bit clear about that. Lacey made it her mission to hire a woman into a leadership role. Lacey heard plenty of excuses. Female job candidate, weren't right, blah, blah, blah. Ladder, too much ego. She got excuses, bored background, hiring a woman, leadership position. Proved impossible for Lacey. Get good, scrub. Okay. This is gaming culture. Oh, she left the company in part of the sexism. This says nothing. This is a narrative. Is this even a real person? Well, maybe it's a pseudonym. Oh, one day Lucy conducted an experiment. Best way to, actually understand reality. Create a hypothesis and try to support it. Okay. Idea she felt flat during the meeting. Asked Mail's colleague to present the same idea to the same group of people. Days later, he was skeptical, but insisted he would give it a shot. Lo and behold, the week after that, he went in, presented exactly as I did. Doubtful. The whole room was like, oh gosh, that's amazing. His face turned beet red. They just done respect. This sounds like a straw man, okay? I cannot believe this story, okay? I mean, did she sort of present it? This is almost like the plot of Remington Steele, where a female, really brilliant female, this was a 90s TV show with fucking Pierce Brosnan, okay? Pierce Brosnan, this female detective hired a male to be the face of her detective company because it was traditionally. Hell, even Persona, Nantara, what is his name? No, not his name, her name. She dressed as a guy to get more respect from the freaking people at the detective because it's male culture.
Okay. This is that follow-up. This one is the Riot Games lawsuit that came out.
Of this Lacey person? It might be
it started from their Kotaku article kicked it off.
Here. Bros before hoes is something so ingrained, though they claimed it to be a meritocracy. And who knows? You're fucking biased. So let's take a look at the second one. Yes, it's Kotaku. This was 2018. So, okay, let's see this crap. Oh, God.
This is the game.
God.
One.
Game developers. This is not interested. Let me read on. Okay. About 1,600 women received payment from Riot Games after a discrimination lawsuit. Very good. Very good. Does it mean they had any truth? Some people pay out just to make it go away. Okay. They legitimately do. Okay. What's the truth? What's the fiction? New breakdown of Riot Games 2018 lawsuit. Yeah, it's a bad look. Okay. Definitely a bad look for Riot to pay these women out.
Well, it's especially when there was. I'll say this. This isn't the case of you see it in the Dr. Disrespect thing as much as like any harassment lawsuits come out of stuff. Most companies sell. Most companies settle.
No matter the truth of Dr. Disrespect, you brought it up. No matter the truth of it, his optics of it was horrible. Okay. Yes. We don't know the truth. I'm not going to comment on it. No. It could have been just some cringy stuff. But most likely, as many people pointed out, because the light on the details and the sort of the fact that no one's given any details and it was covered up for so long doesn't bode well for the actual what people are going to speculate on.
When you have a settlement. So it's a lot easier, even when you go back to the, not Roger Ailes or the Rupert Murdoch lawsuit of sexual harassment at Fox News. That stuff was settled out of court with an NDA. So you can take it into account. Most big companies settle to avoid anything coming out in a trial. So take
Discovery and a whole bunch of other
take stuff. It out as a grain of salt, okay?
Hell, there's a sexual assault allegation at Rocksteady during the development of Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. Does anyone talk about that? That probably the brush with the sexual assault probably got Sweet Baby Inc. in the door. Has anyone besides me even brought that up? That lawsuit, that letter that Kim McSkillet wrote, and why she wanted off the credits of Kill the Justice League Suicide Squad is because she sort of was the face of that letter accusing Rocksteady of sexual something. I don't even know. Harassment. It was the fact that women, probably feminists, complained about some of the designs being too overly sexual. We don't know the details. You can just fill in whatever details with whatever bias. So they did a letter. There was trouble. And she obviously left the project, okay? And a lot of people reported on it. And that probably got like, okay, we don't know how to handle women. We are just geeky guys. Let's bring in some PR consultant firm to sort of help us out. And they use that as a way in. Does anyone bring it up? No, not really.
I need to find it, the one, because when Riot was sued, there was also another suit alleged against Naughty Dog over its bro.
And this is probably where a lot of these this probably ties into a lot of these sort of consultancy firms coming in, just like in sort of not booktube, in the book industry where they have sensitivity readers. They create a problem out of something. Most of the time there really isn't a problem, but they have to work it up. Remember the Anita quote, which is the worst quote ever. Everything is sexist. Everything's racist. Everything is homophobic. You just have to find what it is. When you have that sort of mindset going in, you can find it. Okay. For mostly people just wanting to make good products. So they slowly let people in. And yeah, people got tricked. AAA, dumbass executives not understanding how this works, got the most easily fucking co-opted. Don't be this dumb. These corporations are paying for this crap out there, okay? Legitimately, just don't do it, okay? We learned our lesson. We know how to stop this fucking... And a little bit of it's good. Integration is good. When people come to America, I think the mindset that they shouldn't integrate is fucking retarded. And that almost comes from the left, which almost seems like a double standard of the left. Yeah, Chinese with them, they're fine with keeping their culture. White people don't have culture. You don't expect foreigners to come in to learn our culture, but us in the gaming industry, video games have to adopt a feminist culture, trans culture, all this other culture. I think we should take the best bits out of it and not just find out where we can understand each other, meet in the middle. Okay. But fucking hell, it's just a pain in the ass to deal with. But yeah, we're learning to deal with the culture. We had the Johnny Depp trial, which sort of put a big ass dent in Me Too. Black Lives Matter, I don't think it took such a hit with the leaders buying those mansions, but it is dying down. And I don't even think the trans movement going after kids, I think that was sort of a big oof socially. Okay. Like, I'm perfectly fine with someone who's gone through their puberty. I just have a problem with trans and the kids, as most people do. How do kids know that they're trans before they even went through puberty? I mean, I understand the argument you want to halt all that stuff in case they're trans, but how can they understand if they're male or female or whatever sex until after they experience those hormones? Just doesn't make logical sense to me. Okay. And just like this, sorry, Jamon, I went on a whole banger. Did you have any thoughts on any of this in particular?
I was just going to say, think of what DJ Eric would say to you, because he recently got into an argument with Renown and other people. He's like, how do you know people are, and that's a separate thing on the whole, you don't want to be labeled a bigot or people. They go, we just move the goalpost, or this is why I kind of dislike progressives. When we fight it, they go, you accept this position, but you know what's funny? I'll say this. They're
different situations. This is why devil's in the detail. One thing is not exactly like another, okay? It's just not.
And the thing to it is, you know what's funny?
And people can disagree with my take on trans kids or any subject matter. I'm not a diehard about it. It's just my thoughts on it. And I'm not an expert. I just like things to be logically consistent. Okay? As simple as that. I'd like something to be understandable. Just like this Arch video is not understandable. We went through this because I'm not understanding how Arch's points really even relays to what he's talking about in his video.
It kind of explains it, right? So the underlying point is he's giving the example, eventually makes it, it's like to the argument of a plea for tolerance from the intolerant. Now there is a misconception about this. Because right where you are is the point of the other.
Okay, I think I understand what you're trying to say. Let's get back to the video. I think I know what you're trying to say.
I was bringing this up because when he references the bro culture stuff going around, this led to accusations and lawsuits.
Yeah, okay. And they were just cowardly corporate things, and they probably used the settlements as proof of it happening. Even though it's 1,600 women. I'm sure not every case will be, I'm sure some of the cases had legitimate grievances, but all of them, I'm sort of doubtful on it. Okay, let's get back into this.
Because of accusations of racism. The reason why Games Workshop now has felt the urge to put up a sticker on their doors, Warhammer is for everyone, but whereas before there was no entry permit required in the 40k or the Warhammer hobby, of course, is because of progressivism. The very fact that Star Wars is now being made for covens of lesbian space witches, and the only white guy is the dude in the Wookiee suit, is because of this.
Okay, let them have it. Be like, give us our turn. Give us another freaking, what was it everyone was Andor. Give us another Andor, okay? They got their cringy thing. Give us something, okay? That's how they should be propositioning it. You want to keep us? You're going to have to pay the piper, okay? You fed the progressives and all that shit, okay? Now feed us, and we'll help you out. But they're not even going to. They're not going to give them any incentive to do anything good. Like the whole I think Star Trek has a good example of this. They brought in Christopher Pike, and that helped them out extremely. The fucking crappy ass thing. It might have been pandering to some of the, and I'm going to lose a lot of people. This is Star Trek. Christopher Pike was the original before Kirk, and the pilot
He was in one episode. Then he ran off with the alien woman. Then he showed up later in the crippled in the wheelchair. He basically, the idea is not all of the new Star Trek is bad. Strange New Worlds does have some canon breaking, but it tries to restore what made Star Trek good. It wasn't.
I saw that as an attempt to sort of go back to form. STD was just literally a STD. It has the worst fucking Star Trek Discovery, STD. It literally front face, and I don't know why.
Yes, it is awful.
It's okay. And it played, even though they won their lawsuit against that one guy, it's a clear case of plagiarism. Okay. It's a clear case of plagiarism that they took from that video game tardigrades. It wasn't even anything really established in Star Trek, but they had this weird thing that was just a plagiarism. I don't care if they won in court. In the court of public opinion, they should have been flailed for that blatant case. But plagiarism is so hard to fucking prove. Okay. But yeah, they went back. They gave them incentive. Yeah,
I think
Strange New Worlds. I didn't watch it, but I can understand what they were doing, and I could almost respect it. I just knew they were gonna fucking turn face. Like even Picard, people were praising like the third season. I'm like, no, I'm not going back yet. Okay, I have nothing good or bad to say about it. They lost me.
I have a hard time giving a show. It's kind of like me personally. Just to understand what Disney wanted to do with Doctor Who, I watched Disney Who.
Yeah, I gave it a shot. Even after the cringy, how badly, what was it, the 13th Doctor became, it almost seemed like they were bringing back David Tennant. Okay, but that was just like a pity thing. And yeah, I actually think I watched the first episode of the new Doctor. I didn't think it was complete garbage, but it was not good enough for me to go back in, okay, and put any of my time or effort into it. Okay, I'm like, it's better than the Jodie Whittaker Doctor, but it's still
insufferable.
It's still bad, okay? It's still insufferable. It's better. It improves some, but it's still crap. Better crap, but still crap.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm not going to say it. Like but the argument, if you're going to make it, and it really sucks in newer Star Wars, they come out with Acolyte, which can't.
I'm not watching it. They have philosophy
too. It seems to get worse.
ContraPoints. And I do think I actually liked ContraPoints in the beginning, but even she became cringe. But that's leftism. They have to bully everyone into something. They bullied her because she had Buck Angel, literally a trans man in the porn industry, and they're like, he's a trans medicalist. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? He has a more he thinks people should be psychologically diagnosed and not just affirmed, and it's just people losing track with reality.
The thing about it is, when you're talking about like happens in a fandom, Andor got buried because it
didn't have Jedis or any of the sort of tropes that Star Wars was known for. That's part of it, but go on to the other part.
But it also came out because it was attached to Disney, coming off them destroying The Mandalorian. and people are go, oh, it's
to the
another.
early Mandalorian. I think when the Mandalorian lost is when they brought back Baby Yoda, okay, or Giga. Who the fuck remembers?
Wow,
Okay,
no, but I think it's like Andor. Like I've watched it when actually just watched it. Like went back, and it's actually a spy thriller. It's not insufferable, but it doesn't get the press because no one gives it a shot because people write off a franchise because you don't think it. It's like X-Men 97 is now gaining more traction because it proved itself to be good that Disney didn't Disneyfy it.
yeah, okay, proof. Get people into it. Okay, you want to sell something, make sure Disney knows it will make them a profit. And it seems like I don't know whatever reason. Andor is getting numbers, okay, better numbers than some things. I don't know if that's true. That's just how I see it being out.
People go back and watch it, but it's unlike something where you have to do a bait and a switch, and then you have people just doing a show with a skin suit that don't know how something works.
Yeah, it seems like it's just blatantly progressive, opposed to something like Kenobi, where they bring in Kenobi, then try to usurp Kenobi with what was it? The black girl who survived getting stabbed twice. Hell, Steel Man.
She was a Jedi.
Steel Man, Ahsoka, that one girl getting stabbed just because she got care immediately. Okay, that's the only reason I didn't find that as grievously bad as Ahsoka, who got stabbed and just like sat around for like who knows how long when she was a child first with I guess Anakin Vader. And then the second time,
there's a whole thing on.
There's just different levels of believability.
There's a difference in Acolyte because apparently Acolyte, one stab with a lightsaber is apparently fatal again in Acolyte.
Well, that's fair enough. Okay, I do. I mean, I could almost respect that. I'm still not going to watch it. Sorry,
it's
a hard stance.
The fight scene in 5 is its own.
Hopefully, they're consistent with that at least. Okay,
they aren't. Not even in the same episode.
Really? Okay, let me not get in that brain rot.
No, it will be a horrible brain rot. I'll have to explain it.
No. As I said, I already dealt with it with a fucking Ants video, which not even gonna bother. Maybe I'll see his video when it comes out. I want to see how well it comes across.
Because of the political ideology behind it. They have already used their fists and their pistols, and only now are we beginning to bring them in check by public opinion. This is an enemy that has proven itself to be doctrinally intolerant, an enemy that has proven itself willing to do anything, use any means whatsoever to suppress its opposition, up to and including destroying their lives. No, we should not simply let live. We should not be, oh, you like this thing? Well,
I am wondering one thing, if this is going to turn out well, because he is right in a couple regards, but he's making himself out to be the extremist, okay? The bad guy, okay? Yeah. Getting normies to defend this, but still engage with his argument and be yes, help. This is cringe. I mean, I'm of two minds of this. It's almost like some of these people, like Archer, setting themselves up as bad guys just so the normies come in and engage with this stuff and admit, yeah, this stuff, not great, but you're going off your rocker, like with the whole synthetic man thing, getting people to engage with it because of how extreme you are. And it might actually be efficient, but I just can't agree with it. Okay. I don't even think it's a purposeful thing. I think this is just reactionary to all the years of oppression that people like Arch and Sargon and all these people in the culture war have been feeling. They've been oppressed for so long. They choose on the other foot. They're going to do the oppression. They're going to do the canceling. This is the feeling I get just from this. He doesn't directly say this, but this is the feeling I get. do you disagree with me? This is how it comes across. That shoes on the other foot. We're gonna cancel these shitheads now.
I don't get.
We're
that.
gonna mistreat. Okay, you're part of the community.
There is the argument. Arch has even been the side. Save the ones that can be saved, but do not try to save the ones that you think will bury you later.
Okay. Well, how long ago was that? Was that recently or in this video?
It's a side statement in a lot of the communities because he doesn't say
and
it.
it's going to get drowned out then. Okay.
You've heard me.
Framed,
a lot of people.
I mean, if this is just bait to sort of get the discussion up on this, I'm fine with it. If he's willing to engage,
he's using this video as bait, and here's the problem. It's not as bad.
It's definitely good bait.
It's not as bad as watching a Spoon video, and you need 8 years of college to actually understand what he's talking about.
Or you don't have to think at all. Yeah, Spoon flip-flop from highbrow theory to you're just a dumbass who don't understand anything.
You need to. It's not like one of the videos. Like you have like a ceiling where you need a barrier to entry. Because that's why I say, as a person who knows because like that's why
I will give him credit. This is all understandable, maybe too fucking understandable with what I'm getting from it. And yeah, I'm sure Arch's opinions are much more nuanced than this, but it gives me a feeling of a bait. I don't know what sort of bait though.
He likes it's to open a discussion into it. Because here's the thing, like when you see a person,
this is a bad way to open a discussion. What sort of discussion is he trying to get going with it? With Dev, maybe? Okay.
No, like take like with Dev. Dev believes Brianna Wu could be saved. Us in the Arch community and other people, Sargon.
No, she's the fucking person you have to worry about. People, okay? Saved. She's the exact people that you have to worry about. Brianna
Wu can't be saved. Dev literally will die upon the hill and say she can be saved.
She is fine as a voice, but giving her any power in the community is absolute garbage, okay? Don't give her any power. Yeah, use her as a voice. But she's doing more of the using, okay? Let's finish this up because I do want to get into... Yeah. I wasn't going to originally, but you brought up Brianna Wu, so let's go.
That's fine, I guess. You can have that thing. No, we should actively deny them their things because their things are bad for us. Their things are actually intolerant. Their things are actually racist, as we see right now with Disney and the Disney tapes, showing for the umpteenth time that when these people get in power within a corporation, they institute the intolerance they accuse others of. They institute the racism they accuse others of. Whenever a leftist asks you for anything, assume he wants that thing, but for it to be in his control.
See, there's a lot of assumptions here, a lot of putting everyone in the fucking same exact camp. For understandability, for rhetoric purposes, I can understand where he's doing with this. But this is like a low resolution view of both leftism and corporate culture. Does he understand it's much more complex than this, and he's just dumbing it down for this particular video, for this particular message? I'm getting that feeling. I'm not sure. Okay, you're more you're
some of his videos are more highbrow that you need to know some stuff about him, because at first glance you would think he's a narcissistic asshole just talking down. Because when you're EFAPing it like this, because it's not like you're missing this stuff, because he, unlike other creators, I say about 90% of the time he sticks to landing.
Okay. And I've seen him do excellent on a lot of things, some nuance. I don't probably watch him enough because he generally doesn't talk about things that I'm particularly interested in. Okay. I'm just talking about for this one video. If people just watch this one video, it's going to come off horrible for him or great, depending on your point of view here. Okay. And then again, we're going to do a little bit
when
of
somebody asks you, "Oh, hey, it's totally fine. It's harmless. You know, just don't incorporate it in your world. Just let us carve out our piece of your hobby." Your answer should be no, because we have seen.
Yeah, don't give them that piece of yours. Okay. If they want to come in, they have to learn the rules. Okay. Fucking don't be dumb. Okay. As simple as that. Don't let ideologues from either side. This would be just as bad if you had one of these fucking church justice warriors that have been popping up recently, trying to inject fucking Catholicism or tolerant reestablishing of this. It's the same thing. I'm just seeing the pop up of like Catholic justice warriors.
In what you have done with our tolerance. What happened when somebody let you in was this. It was the destruction of the thing. It was the reduction of it to its most base, uninteresting, and non-fantastical elements. It is the reduction of orcs and dwarves and elves to nothing more than Californian humanity, inspired first and foremost by ideological demand.
Yeah, there will be some people who are freaking doing that. Okay. Is that everyone in the new space? I sort of find that hard to believe. Okay. There are going to be different people. I'm curious if these are the only examples he's pulling from, because these are the only examples he has.
These are current. No,
these are just the extreme examples that he can low hanging fruit.
He's using the current.
Okay. He's using the current material that they're trying to promote to sort of push this.
It's easier to use the current verses because without having a little bit more of the nuanced discussion about the past modules and other stuff associated with D&D that led up towards this.
Yeah, there's going to be some sort of equilibrium that should be reached within this. Okay. Maybe they're just overcompensating with all the cringe stuff within these imageries, virtue signal. I completely understand why it's looking really bad for.
The inside of the inside of the book, supposedly, you don't have ordinary heroes fighting anything. One of the first things when you flip open the book, apparently, in the character creator, is a person in the combat wheelchair.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
it's definitely cringe. I think it's really stupid, just like Doctor Who's inclusion of the person in the wheelchair. Yeah, I think I heard people going off on the one wheelchair person, and let them have a wheelchair. Okay, I'm gonna exclude any games. I'll be like, you want to fucking have a character in a wheelchair? Okay. Yeah. No, let's not and say we did. Let's do something cooler, like a hover thing or some sort of magic carpet. Okay, if your character wants to be disabled.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Even Dev made the point about having a magic carpet to move around or something. The fact alone that the combat wheelchair is very pushed forward and other stuff is in the book. This comes from the player's handbook. Images leaked out of it.
Yeah.
And
if the whole thing is like this, I can understand the problems with it. If it's just, it looks like all just progressive politics being pushed.
Because what if I told you?
If they're just cherry pick sections from a greater of the whole, because the context does matter.
We aren't even into the whole rumors about 6th edition that supposedly is.
This is why I fucking hate rumor mill. Okay, they always blow everything out, so that becomes the whole thing before we even know the details. That's the only reason I'm really pushing on back on some of these sort of game.
You're doubting it, but a lot of the stuff coming out of D&D Beyond testing. So what if I told you there was an entire class introduced called the Artificer? If you wanted to play a paralyzed person or a person with limb deficiency, you know what the Artificer class is? in D&D, you are literally a mechanist. You can design a literal golem or mechanical exosuit that helps you move and act normal.
Seems pretty OP. I've heard of the class, but I've never looked into it. I think it's always been banned. I think that was homebrewed though, okay? I've seen that like in the class.
It's in D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know it from, I thought it was homebrew or something. I haven't had a DM actually be like, yeah, I haven't seen anyone pick that class personally in all the games or even try to pick the class. It's fine if it's something that people want to pick. I'm fine with more options. Okay. I don't know why that's horrible. I can see the concerns with such a class. It's like the Borg, okay. A little bit lame, but it's acceptable in sci-fi. I don't know what to say.
You have
yeah.
And reason. No, you do not get to have your thing. No, you do not get to have your hobby. No, you do not get to make your own thing. You have radicalized us. And as now, well, from where I'm sitting, the suppression of my opposition is looking like an awfully fine virtue to me. So thank you, progressivism. If nothing else, you have taught us, well, you have equipped us with the tools to fight you. For that, if nothing else, we should be grateful. So remember, everyone, gatekeep always. Burn them out of every space you can. Because if you...
See, I don't like the... Gatekeeping is fine, but it's all about the power dynamics. You don't want to create a fucking echo chamber.
Yes.
Again, you create power, you create the roles. People in power, hierarchies, okay? If someone argues that there shouldn't be a hierarchy in this, tell them to go fuck themselves, okay, personally. Because there should be a neutral arbiter to deal with any far right people with more right leaning ideas and more left leaning ideas, to keep it not a safe space, because there should be room for things, okay? There should be room, but that should be discussed within the group, within the game, the session 0 for D&D, okay? That is just sensible, okay? Just set the rules, okay? People who are like, we don't need rules. Then you have super strict rules where you can't even have any freedom. Again, the extremism, just because they were extremists, you should be extremist in your gatekeeping? No. You create an echo chamber that's just a polar opposite of your enemy, the people you're fighting against. You become, again, this quote here, okay? He who fights monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. When you gaze long enough into the abyss gazes also into you. Okay? Maybe I'm giving that quote way too much credit, but I would rather be careful. I would rather not become what I hate in my opposition. I don't fucking like the woke scolds, and I don't like the fucking Bible thumpers who try to push, oh, you can't say Jesus Christ. That's taking the Lord's name in vain. Like, I'm not trying to take the Lord name in vain, okay? I wish I could believe that God exists, but sometimes I have my doubts for very good reason, okay? Like shit like this, okay? But yeah, overall, just
so you look at
in 20 seconds, less than 20 seconds. I don't think he fucking. It's worth watching. Then I think he's at the end. Okay, I think his thing is just keep anyone you suspect to have the woke mind virus out of thing, and I think that's just a dumb thing. You said in another video, some can be saved. I think that's even a horrible framing. Some, I think, can be dealt with reasonably, okay? They're not so far that they're going to call everyone with opposition opinion racist, sexist, bigot, fascist, okay? Those are the people that you can associate with or should associate with.
The
You should
part
get
you left
pushback.
out is one of the very key. He says, burn them out from every section, or else because they will have no hesitation to do it to you.
Yeah, that still doesn't change my opinion on it. It's still fucking something that they would do. Okay, that is there. That does seem to be the perception that he gives them, frankly. And,
So you're okay. So here's the thing. His arching stance, or arcing stance, should say, is the term that it comes from a student of history. Progressives came in, infiltrated the space. They came in.
They colonized the space. Okay,
they basically said,
colonizers.
"Oh,
okay, they're hypocrites with that.
You didn't give us a piece of the pie or the table to influence or write something. Then they used it, hollowed it out, made it their own versus creating. Now, did it get dumbed down over time? Let's take Star Wars as eventually Disney Wars, most part. Not mainly Star Wars, Disney Wars. Now, Disney Wars has had more misses than hits.
Yeah, but people miss the point. Lucas, the original creator, got shat on for his prequel series. So he sold it off, okay?
Well, he got tired of making movies.
He got tired of making movies, and he got sort of bullied out of his own fucking franchise because, yeah, they were sort of clunky.
Here's the first film,
he started becoming up his own butt, but the fan bullshit sort of made him not want to deal with it anymore. That was part of it.
Combination, but the whole thing, the phenomenon of 6, 7, and 9. 6, well...
Hola.
Yes. So you're dealing with the idea, right? So you get to the point with Acolyte, which Acolyte by...
Not touching that, okay? As I said, I'm out of the Disney, okay?
No, I'm just telling
you. Get out.
No,
I went back for Ahsoka just because
they don't take care of their lore themselves. No. You have the people in the franchise now, down the line, series down the line, whether it was in Kenobi. Kenobi had tried to have some, like, I think the fight scene at the end, even though it breaks canon, is epic. It's probably one of the best we've had.
But also the logic of that. I heard arguments for it. I watched
it's good. But when you get into like the Acolyte is free rent territory because it's supposed to be set during the High Republic, which is... So the series starts 100 years prior to A Phantom Menace.
Okay, hurry up. Get to your point, old
man. These people, and it was written by Lindsay Headland, who basically pitched it. It doubles down not only on the idea of the Force is female, they alter... Do you remember the line of Kayati Mandu? Your disease is rubbing off on me. Kayati Mandu, the one Jedi from A Phantom Menace. We haven't seen the Sith for almost a millennia. No, we've only haven't seen a Sith in like 90 years.
Okay. Yeah, it could have been a translation error. I just remember when people were butthurt about the Fallout TV show, how nitpicky they got about the lore. Most of that was bullshit, okay? They retconned things. No, they might have had certain concessions that didn't make it perfectly consistent.
Then you have the other ones, right?
I'm sure Disney has a much better case for them just blatantly
you also have
fucking around with it.
I hate to say it, the lesbian force witches, which can create children just by sheer whatever. Cool. They create.
Okay, if you really want to get into Alkalite, let's get into Alkalite. Okay.
I'm just saying that
what?
it
No,
breaks
hold on.
canon.
I got something. I got something on my playlist. Okay, let's hear the autism of this guy.
Don't.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
You really? I'm just saying.
I
was saying it's people who write the lore. They don't keep up with the lore. Okay, there's literally in episode 5.
We're going into this. You want to go? I got something set up for this. I'm not trying to get into it here. We'll go into this. Okay, we'll go into this because I knew fucking
people saw the trailer online or heard about it, went to look it up, and just watched it. Or watched enough of it to count as a view. And
yeah,
all of
we're missing out. Star Wars theory.
Okay.
Make it
look like Chewbacca. Why? Hey, let's look at that a little more. So let's look at Henderson's. He looks like pretty... Not really. He don't look that much alike. He looks like a Wookiee.
No.
You disagree?
Why do you do this?
You're the one who brought up Alkalite.
This is not what I was saying. They actually, like, with this character right here, one of the first like Wookiee Jedis ever mentioned in Star Wars, at least in the movies. They go to the planet to find him, and he's just dead.
Okay.
Killed by one.
Romeo agrees. Okay, we're not getting into that. Okay. You brought up Brianna Wu, got something else for us. Here. Progressive Victory Spotlight. She was pushing it. Vosh is back. Okay. And he actually doing numbers with this. J-Rags. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, you're gonna suffer.
Okay, so you said the center doesn't exist anymore, right? Because you get pulled.
Your whole what the fuck are those shorts?
Still is, right? Nah, I don't know. I just
it's J-Rags, okay. Satirical guy.
I'm talking.
You can't try and build a point between two sides.
Yeah, and it doesn't exist in the current environment.
No, just to stay in the same spot, you have to sprint. Yeah, I believe that. But I also need to make up a little story for myself to justify why I'm here. And that story is Jamal Bowman is a cool leftist, and his opponent is a cringe, honky neolib centrist. Yeah, and that works for me.
I mean, Starbucks.
This is a reform attempt. This is such
a
blatant
reform attempt.
Yeah, I find this funny. I saw someone meme it. I think Smug Waffles memed it.
And mutually exclusive views on issues that you didn't even know people could have hot takes
true.
About, you know, you'll have guys who are like progressive.
He's fucking talking to the guy about fucking who did the centrist memes. Got popular off of his political compass rap and went with whole centrist side. I thought the shit was hilarious.
People who, I mean, it's a lot of them, or ghosts. It's like 50% of the country believes in ghosts. And
this guy also did a fucking video. Lauren Southern. He even stand freaking Too Mad when everyone was shitting on Too Mad. He was like, yeah, Too Mad was a crazy, and I really don't think he was doing a lot of shit, but the dude was fucked up with mental stuff and drugs.
Isn't he the one who had his bail revoked? No.
Who? J-Rags?
Not J-Rab. Too Mad.
Yeah, he died, and people started dropping. It's the horse guy. It's the horse. Is there a horse on screen? That would be wonder. No, I almost thought that was like a wheelchair there for a second. We were talking about D&D wheelchair, but no.
I have a question. Would you go? Are you man enough to go dress like this in an interview? What are?
Well, I'm not Bosch. Maybe
there is no way.
I could do the J-Rag look. You could even do the Hillary. If I was him, I could do the Clinton Hillary. Fine. Okay,
those are at least cargo shorts. That man is wearing old man Docker shorts.
Well, he is. Vosh is getting up on the years. Look at those specs. He goes into it. Yeah, there's probably horses all over the place. Yeah, that would be. J-Rag should have fucking that would be just beautiful if J-Rags like opened up and like had horse and girls on that shirt. Probably not, because this is Progressive Victory Spotlight. We were talking about Brianna Wu. She was pushing Progressive Victory. This is why I wanted to bring up this video, which I find awesome.
I can't
That's
get
right. And then you're going
past
to defend
the-
it. And 3 days later, you're going to be like, I don't know, a revanchist or some kind of lunatic, like single issue voter.
Right. Okay. So you don't think people can like look at the landscape and keep triangulating and like inch left, inch right, inch left, inch right?
I don't know why you'd want to.
Yeah, I mean, me neither, but
that sounds awful.
I feel like I know people.
Definitely not your type, right, Romeo? Definitely not your type. Too small.
Do that. But I don't think they're. I don't know how relevant.
Huh?
Hold on. Can I give people a horrifying image going through my head right now?
Go ahead. Go ahead. We're coming to the end. Okay, let's have some fun with this.
A progressive version of Matt Walsh.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that. Okay.
Now
but he's
tell
reforming
me
himself with
now
J-Rag.
tell me you don't see that. How Matt Walsh dresses and how Vosh is dressed now.
I don't even know if he's gay, but it's hard to tell. Vosh. I know Vosh is bisexual. J-Rag, I don't know. He's mystery.
I'm just saying, take him, right? And then take the way Matt Walsh looks
Good boy.
on a stream, and then get that. That's what Vosh reminds me of right now, dressed like that.
Probably. Who knows? He's an actor.
You got interviewed at PF Ewing, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but like identifies as radical centrist, but that's
I doubt that personally. But I understand. I think that like people think it's smart, like it makes them smart.
Yeah.
Find the balancing. I don't know. It's you have to accept like to a point, right? That all political engagement is kind of fucking cuckoo, and everyone's a crank to some extent, and everyone's trying their best. Well, not everyone's trying their best, but like everyone is fronting that to their extent, and some people are trying their best, and you have to thread the needle and do the best you can in that environment. I think some people try to make it out like it's a chessboard, and I don't know. It's just like West Wing shit to me, like cringe liberal. With the right heart and the right mind, you can like unite everyone under a cause. No, you can't. No one ever has. When does that ever happen?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not to be negative. I mean, I kind of like the chaos of it a little bit. I think people are interesting. I just think that reductive assessments, lead people to like what you said, moving to stay in the center. What would a centrist have said about
Lubin to stay in the center? I know Vosh knows all about that, especially with his horse.
Can I insert Dev as an enlightened centrist? No.
Why are you bringing Dev into this? We're talking about Vosh now, okay? Barely talking about Vosh. This is just like a fluff piece.
I agree with you. They're both sipping on Starbucks. They clearly thought this was a good look. This shit should be.
No, I think they know this is a pretentious as all hell look and doing it on purpose.
How is it? You're holding a coffee cup, a Starbucks. The other one's holding a mic with like.
Oh God! Well, look, it's the title of this section: "The Stupidity of Trying Language." Oh God! It's not even a word. Okay.
I can't get past this.
Israel and Palestine 1 year ago versus today, because they would have had to have two very different positions to keep up with.
Yeah, I think that is how it goes. You keep just updating every 5 seconds, and it's like it's not a real political position, because if you're in a room with 3 people and one person says one thing, another person says another thing, you feel the need to like just position yourself between them, so you don't actually stand on anything solidly.
Can I ask? Okay, I want to ask you this, like just like in a raw sense, like not ideologically but personally. Do you ever feel yourself doing that, where you hear somebody with a take and you don't know if it's right or wrong? It sounds out there, but you don't know. So you think, okay, maybe like that, but a lesser version.
Yeah.
And then you see the other.
Wow. There's a little bit of projection here. A little bit of projection. I think this is like a cope session for him. Probably not. This is progressive victory. They're progressives. They're going for victory.
Did you not see how he's holding the mic? I literally saw him pick the Starbucks cup up with like 2 fingers, like he's cupping something.
Fair enough. I think J-Rag should have his pinky out for the mic, like he's sipping, like fancy from a little British guy. Be like tip cheerio, bring the mic up, be like,
together and you think, okay, so somewhere in the middle, and then you end up like defending a take you don't actually know the merits of because it's in the center of two others.
Yeah, I do it all the time. It's fun.
It's easy.
It's fun.
It's
easy.
easier than
it gives you clout and it makes friends. I'm high agreeable. You're disagreeable. That's where we differ.
Yeah, that's why I get in trouble so often.
Yeah.
No. That's not why you get in trouble. That's not why you get in trouble. Okay. You take insane positions. Okay. And you fucking hell. Even among his own party. How did he get in progressive victory? You hear the sort of story about him and Destiny. He fucking pretty much Keffels has stolen Valor, right? Stolen Valor. Supposedly, Destiny got kicked off of Twitch because of something Vosh's roommate or girlfriend, who could have been taking the credit for Vosh. You know, Vosh, yeah, do this for me, okay? And she stole it from him. He figured, give it to the trans. The trans deserves this. I don't want to take the heat for getting Destiny off.
Which one? So which one are you talking about? The idea of Vosh. Vosh spawned is a demon spawn from Destiny's community. That Destiny created the whole debate me bro culture. Supposedly Destiny was a semi-moderate conservative or moderate Republican, went to college and became a flaming leftist.
I wouldn't call him a flaming leftist, more just pull you up by the bootstraps progressive. Okay. He went hard against Jontron and Sargon. You know, he got the reputation. He brought up Hassan, Vosh. Thank God he has no credit in Keffels. Okay. He's probably, thank God, like, phew, at least I'm not taking the heat for fucking bringing Keffels up. She fucking tried to make her name off of canceling my ass and Kiwi Farm shit.
So basically, you have to say this. When you look at like this, it's an incestuous circle. Like Vosh, you have like they're two about the same. Destiny's a little bit more discredited now. He's gone back to his original, like where he will argue with people and
discredited.
Basically,
I don't see what you're talking about. Okay, Destiny is still somewhat of a force, and this is hilarious. This channel. I only searched this up because of Smug Waffle's little meme. I'm like, is this real? Dude, it's real. Let me put it on the playlist, okay? It might be a good end piece, okay?
But I mean,
this one's doing numbers. Because this channel has, like, pathetic-ass views. Like, most of the videos barely crack 1K. Okay, the Vosh ones are actually doing the best. Vosh is doing great for this progressive victory spotlight. Okay, but you brought up Brianna Wu, not to be trusted. Okay, I definitely agree she's a welcome voice, but giving her any power and anywhere is just a mistake. This is my idea.
I understand.
Okay,
I want
you want as many voices as you want, but be careful who you give the power to.
I'm not trying to be mean. But those eyes...
You should actually be trying to be meaner.
Those eyes look like he's looking at... Take me to the bedroom, Vosh. Those eyes don't... The way these two are talking... And that
you think they're getting a little something later on? Which one? They brought up bottom and top. Which one do you think would be the bottom and top? Definitely Vosh would be the bottom, okay?
No, I'd hope he's the top.
This whole thing is hurting his eyes. I can understand completely.
You know what this is? It's just
okay. Let's move on. Maybe he's right. This is horrible.
Right? Making friends with as many groups as possible to form a coalition to win.
Yeah, at least I don't know until you do the Fetterman and you like give up on all that and just lose your mind.
Yeah.
Too soon.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I again, Canadian.
You need to like get in an accent.
I knew Fetterman from he was running against Dr. Oz, and then was a progressive, and then now it's like super pro Israel.
He's been walking back on basically everything. I think that part of
that was like the first domino of the Israel thing.
Yeah, I think part of it is APAC money, and I think
yeah, it's weird. I saw someone Words of Paradise, Leon, have a tweet where supposedly there's some push, like supposedly Schwarzenegger's coming back on some of like I know I fucked up with some of my crap. Okay, please forgive me or something. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but supposedly if Arnold wants to come back to a more centrist or even maybe a right leaning position from a more left leaning one that he's been on, obviously there's a discussion, should they let him back in? Apparently they're like, no, keep him out.
Arnold at least
He praised Hitler when he was in his pumping days, admired by Hitler. I don't know how he ever got on the left.
See, okay.
I don't know how he even got into the sort of even slightly left leaning camp.
You forget though, he married into the Kennedys.
Okay, he got progressive ties by marriage. Okay, got it. He got like STD. Okay, he got the progressivism or leftism, whatever people want to call him. I didn't really pay attention.
I think for the most part, it's like Arnold is getting up there and older, and he still has some centrist message, but he has more of that moderate. I
think he's always been moderate. He's sort of gone a little bit slightly to the cringy left side from what I hear, but I don't keep up with politics.
But I think the last major videos I've seen make the rounds, it was misinterpreted by leftoids. They go, "Oh, he's trying to own the chuds," and I'm like, "No, he's trying to own you." But
I always know about that cope. Okay, the cope is strong. They always want to spin it. Like, I mean, and yeah, I think there's a lot of people on the left who are really getting in there. Okay, I think they're really the left people are sort of starting to take it to the normies. Okay,
while the right is
getting further into
what I was saying earlier, since you kind of ruined the idea, like it does what Arch often forgets, like in his stuff.
Okay, let's take that off.
Go to the
some people's eyes.
Yes, it does. The liberal, the progressive Matt Walsh looking thing is scary. Okay, please, Vosh, if you ever see this, please don't dress like that again.
But it's hilarious. It's definitely a reform attempt by Progressive Victory. I mean, they got him. They got him in the door. They can't just let the horsecock lolly stuff ruin their investment in him.
Can I say at least there's but what you forget is the concept is the conservative. So the progressive swing back, right, is the cultural swung. This is where, if Will's in chat, you see this. I think when I say the progressives took over the liberal side, they infected that side. Now the collapse of
I disagree. They just tricked some people, and now that they went mask off, it's a little bit apparent.
When they went mask off, that movement's collapsed in 10 years. But it's something I've said to people. What is the swing back to the far left or the progressives? What's the clap back?
Whoa. We're gonna swing to the right. The pendulum is moving rightwards. Okay, who knows where it is? Who knows where it's gonna fall?
I don't think it's gonna. And I have we've all.
You don't think it's gonna reach to the more slightly far right perspective?
Okay. See, this is something that's been said in Arch's community and other people, Sargons. I don't think the neocons, Republicans would ever take neocons or the far right people back again. Because I've heard liberal people say you conservatives don't out their own. Yes, they do. And they have never claimed Dr. Disrespect. So screw you, Blurred Without Fear. Please learn.
Oh, shots fired.
I don't care. But the idea is they say they don't. Now, if the fling back to the right, depending on how far it goes, because the Overton window is still screwed. Because Canada is still.
It's been stretched out, like, you know.
It's been horribly stretched.
Skinny woman taking a BBC.
So
one too many times. So that's stretch
this
that
is
shit
my
out.
this is my theory. So this has been my theory.
The BBC screwed over the Overton window by stretching it out way too far.
The Overton window was already like in the realm of it automatically goes from left to right. It's some far, like I think when Obama got elected, there was this big cultural shift, not just with Obama being elected. There was a bunch happening all around the culture, down to the basic level. The Overton window got kicked so far to the left.
In the nuts.
It's basically been taken. It's taken over 10 years to swing back to the other side. Now, the problem is these progressives who run these think tanks don't understand the other side, that they risk cracking back at them. That becomes the embraced thing.
Of course, they're eggheads, but I do think I'm seeing a trend. I do think the leftists, at least online with their rhetoric, is sort of toning down and becoming way more normie friendly. But I'm a little bit more.
They
have to. Okay.
Because
this ant guy is actually, I think, despite him fighting everyone on the EVAP stuff on that video, I think that turned out to be successful for him. I think he's gonna do numbers after this.
Ant has had a following for a while. He's made it through the.
Mind you, the Wookiee looks like Harry.
I think this is going to give him a boost. This whole being covered by EVAP. I think he's going to opt into something good. Okay,
but
he's going to try to. Okay.
So what I'll say on that, the matter is, when you hold the Overton window kicked over. See, Canada's Overton window is still over to the left. Mudahar.
Yeah, well, fucking hell.
Mudahar.
There.
So
at least dislike or like Trump. Trump is at least keeping the discourse is fairly in the center. It's about the only good thing I have to say about it.
So this is why where Deb doesn't understand. So Mudahar himself even said if Trudeau was kicked out, you still have the option of either far left or left to vote for. There is no. So in the U.S., we have that.
There is the Quebecs are always extremists, but I think there is a conservative side that is more like slightly left of moderate. The conservatives in Canada.
You have like a thing here.
And you got the far right. Okay.
Now you have the silent majority, which just generally does not, in the 10-year period, that doesn't care about the culture war. But when they learn about it, they tune out of a show. Or they tune out of it. So part of what's helped the conservatives lash back has been like Musk buying Twitter and normies waking up.
They're not that funny, okay? There's a lot of crap there. We're moved on from Bosch, okay? I see them.
Oh,
okay?
I see them.
I'm ignoring them.
Sorry. But so
them.
But you get what I'm saying, Vincent, right? The normies are the ones backlashing against Disney against the acolytes. It's not the people. Then the people who wear the skin suit of
don't make me bring this up. I mean, I think this the stream by Ant versus Star Wars acolyte reviewers. I mean, let me at least bring up what he doesn't go hard against. At the very end, they like bring up a normie review, and he actually is like, okay, this is fine. Look, I do want to end it soon, but let's just get a little bit of his take on a normie reviewer. He does it at the very end. Okay, so bringing this up real quick, some of his take on this, real quick towards the end. Okay. Oh yeah, I should
for such a long time. But I just have not enjoyed it in a while. The only things in the Star Wars universe I've enjoyed in recent times were the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, the entirety of Andor. Andor was shockingly good. And also, I liked the Han Solo movie. That's a really controversial hot take, but that's just a genuinely turn your brain off fun sci-fi film if you forget that it's supposed to tie into Star Wars in any way. It's self-aware cheesiness, and I just had a good time watching it. And I can't say that about pretty much anything else Star Wars has done for the last decade.
I enjoyed
and for the most part, I stopped tuning in. I swore off the franchise because I just haven't been enjoying it. So what's the point in just banging my head against this wall?
Oh no, he's probably caught up
the
in the
headline
debates.
of
See, that's the right mentality to have. If you don't enjoy something, just don't watch it. Who cares? You know?
Acolyte being the worst Star Wars thing ever made, I had to check it out. When people,
I mean, hell, I disagree. If you're a reviewer, I think that's a little bit different. But this is at the very end, and he does bring up some points that I think are relevant. I hate fucking Steel Man and leftists like this. When leftists actually make sense with some of their commentary, I'm like, what can I do? He's making fucking sense. He's doing optically good things. Then he sort of usually does a counterpoint like, yeah, I don't know about the pronouns of this one character. I'm like, you fucking gotta ruin it by bringing this shit up about concern about pronouns of this person.
So
who cares?
Here's the thing. I think the Rebel movie, the one that was
we're almost done.
I thought so I didn't like Solo, but I thought the Rebel, the Rebel movie, how the little prequel to whatever.
Yeah, I didn't really like it very much, but it wasn't bad. It just wasn't bad.
I liked that, but better than I liked Solo.
Okay. Well, I didn't like Solo. I mean, theoretically, Solo was a competent movie. It just, I don't know. It just sat wrong with me. I mean, I wanted to like it more than I did. There's just so many little stupid, weird stuff.
And you know they
annoyed me.
And the weird part about that film is the Happy Days guy hyped that shit up like it was the best thing ever. And I'm just like,
I'm the Fonz.
No, it was the one God who was, I can't remember that actor's name.
Okay, let's go on with this.
People say French fry, I pizza. You know what I mean? Like if something is said to be truly horrific, avoid at all costs. I'm going right over there and I'm taking a big old fucking sniff of it. I've got to know, does the shit smell like poop? Time to find out. I like to form my own opinions on it.
Yeah.
So I watched the first 3 episodes of Acolyte, which are the only 3 episodes that are out, and I want to vomit my thoughts into your mouth like a baby bird being fed by its mother here. We're going to go over the good and the bad, and there's not much good. Let's start with the good, actually, because that'll be nice and quick. I actually really like the action. The action in this is mainly hand-to-hand combat, and they do a pretty good job with it. Also, just a heads up, my house isn't haunted. That's not a poltergeist event. That claw machine is almost ready, so right now it seems the engineers are tinkering around with it remotely. So, and it's pretty cute. Sorry, I wanted to see if they won. So they're using the Force remotely to play my fucking claw machine behind me. Don't be distracted. Point is, the fights. I actually like the fights. It's flashy hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, and that's nice. There's not a lot of it, but when it's there, it's at least refreshing. It's this welcome power cleanser from the very terrible...
Until you get to
you having a problem with...
Until you get to episode 5, Charlie?
Well, this is 12 days ago. Okay, was it even out then? Really? You are a big hater, okay, of the skinny guy.
Writing that the show has.
I like Charlie.
I don't even think the characters are even bad per se. Like,
Okay.
My disagreement with I'd have to watch what he says because
it would have been pretty interesting, but the writing is so cringe. And I know I use that word real loosey-goosey. I mainly use it ironically, but here I really do mean it. It sounds like they're trying to be deep, but don't know how. For example, one of the bad guys, he's like, steel and laser, no good against Jedi. Have to kill the dream. And then fucking fires up his lightsaber for no reason. It should be like really cinematic and dramatic. It's just really lame. Like all of the writing falls super flat. Even when you have characters I think could work pretty well, they just can't write them well, unfortunately. So the show starts with who we think is the main character killing a Jedi Master in a bar fight. And the bar fight's really cool.
He's really not doing very much comedy. And I'm like, this guy is the opposite of EFAP. He waits for big chunks to say a bit. Okay. At least he is the anti-EFAP. I mean, I like the idea behind it, but I think there are places that he should insert some commentary.
Have you ever see what I like about when Voice Critical reviews something? He has his moments. He's not very boring, but so much better than Ant. Ant's just like, I hate to take shots at EVS. It's like watching EVS transform content. Just sit there in the corner, like.
Well, he's doing this for apparently a video, so there is going to be a video that he's building this towards. So,
if you don't think about it too hard, she's supposed to be all about peace, but she waits until after all of her friends get their shit pushed in, absolutely clobbered by this assassin who came up to her, letting her know her intentions. Like, I am here because I want to kill you. Like, I am here because I am going to fucking murder everyone here to kill you. And the Jedi Master just kind of blows her off like, whatever, punk, loser, get out of this bar. So then she starts killing, or not killing, she starts, annihilating all of her friends. And then after they're all down is when she steps up. And that just doesn't make much sense. Like, why? Like, I feel like as a Jedi, you'd probably act before then to protect your.
I would kind of like getting into this one a little bit. This is actually like a.
Yeah. I mean, the way he's describing it sounds completely horrible. It's the same sort of criticism I had of why did fucking Poe react after the one dude was killed. Okay, you figured Hotshot Pilot would have tried to save the guy, and after the guy was actually dead, you wouldn't have blew your cover. Same problem I had with that part. It's a minor part. Force Awakens. It's always annoying when people do something afterwards when you would assume their character would have been smart enough or experienced enough to do the action beforehand. It just hurts my head. But go on before Ant goes on.
So here's the thing about like the Acolyte. The Acolyte is set in the High Republic period, which is supposed to be the lead up to before the Force Awakens, Phantom Menace. The Jedi have been the only law and order, pretty much the main law and order for 500 years. Following the Sith Grand Plan kind of thing, right? The idea is the Jedi become their hubris. They start becoming their own grandiose because without a main enemy, they don't think a Sith exists. Most Jedi have not seen a dark side user ever. So if someone says, "Oh, I'm going to come up and kill you," they're trained a certain way because they haven't actively fought a Sith. They haven't seen a Sith. The only people who know of them are the ones who research the archives.
So hold on. You're defending the Acolyte's decision to do this, even though it seems rather stupid. The front page.
I think the premise is, if they went with this premise, they know a dark side user pops up. They know the Sith do exist, but they don't exist in numbers. The idea of an acolyte comes from the extended universe, and a lot of the show uses the extended universe. That an acolyte is a form.
I'm just highlighting this in section. He does talk about the fucking extended universe. He even recommends the books. He's even like, the show isn't that great, okay, but the books are much better. He's not even really defending the show. He's just sort of pointing out the bad criticism of like he goes through neurotic.
I'll say that Shad's review of episode 5, because he doesn't understand
Star Wars theory.
Well, picking up Star Wars theory is low hanging.
See, this is half the problem of leftists that I think kills them. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing necessarily, because I think optically smart leftists, like I've seen popping up recently, is sort of hiding their true power level in a certain extent. So I'm suspicious, like Brianna Wu. I'm just suspicious because I know where this ideology, where people who have this sort of mindset, when they become more likable and personable, where it leads.
Okay. And do you know how I know about him? He's been making a way in his circles, like the progressive or liberal circles.
His credits, the Mary Sue, it brought up that he had an article that was covered by some guy.
He's been making his way through the pop culture sphere for a while. So when I saw you originally mention the guy, I go, "Oh, that guy. I've seen that guy worming his way." Now, the whole thing is, if you're going to criticize something, at least have an idea of nuance. fans. Now, the big thing about Acolyte as a show, not even the people it was made for, like the show. The show, as I had to bring up to Will at one point, now I brought it up to DJ Eric, and I said, this show has a worse rating than the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, he actually brings that up. He thinks that's the death of Star Wars. Okay. He's like, that was the true death of Star Wars. People realize that Star Wars can be really, really bad. Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, let's listen to what he has to say. I'm curious.
A well-articulated review. I want to emphasize that right now. This is the kind of negative review I'd want to see more of. You're talking about the writing. You're talking about, hey, this seems out of character. The characters have potential, but they're not well written. I don't agree with what he's saying necessarily, but at least he's saying it in a way that's compelling and like reasonable. Like, it's not like rage baity. It's more like, okay, I'm probably not gonna watch the whole thing. So I feel like I think it's, if it's this kind of tone consistently, I think I'm not gonna have too much to criticize with it.
Like this. Okay. He sort of worms out of this. He talks well about it. And I do agree. Charlie's simple, straight to the point. He's not like he covers down here nerdrotic, okay. Some cringy stuff, nerdrotic, ramping up the rhetoric, bringing up. He only talks about the show for like 5 minutes in like a 10-minute video, and the rest of the stuff is just like talking about all the other cringy Star Wars properties and Disney and other stuff. A lot of these culture warriors do reference a lot of things. There was this one point here. That I found intriguing.
You know, like 3 minutes of the video talking about doing a flashback of the previous episodes and showing headlines from other publications. He spent a few minutes making jokes about the actors, and then he's making connections, talking about, oh, Disney ruined these other Star Wars things. Like, talk about the show. Talk about the one episode.
Yes, it's about entertainment. It's about catering to a fan base who hates new Star Wars. Okay, that's what these channels are typically. Shitting on shitty things. Okay, they're not critics. They're just entertainers who are using crappy properties like EFAP. Some of their most popular streams were shitting on fucking Batgirl show. The EFAP fans love that shit. Okay, this is the new form of entertainment on YouTube. Not consuming, and it's actually very postmodern. They're transforming these shows into something entertainment. It's like Mystery Theater, Science Mystery Theater 3000 revived for the internet generations in some of these cases. That's what almost this is, but it's got a tinge of hatred to it. It definitely has a tinge of hatred to it.
Just keep focused, man.
To watch Luke Skywalker until Disney Star Wars got a hold of him, and he decides to.
And also, like, making fun of, making fun of the actors, making fun of Carrie Fisher dying.
And even if these creators aren't trying to send hate to these creators personally, and these people should actually be professionals and fucking not take tweets from butthurt people who are like, yeah, you're horrible, your acting was horrible. They shouldn't take them too seriously. Fanboys be fanning.
I mean, making light of it, I should say, not making fun. He's not making fun. He's making light of Carrie Fisher's death, which I think is also kind of messy for a lot of reasons. Problem is, there's not much actual reviewing going on in the show. He says, oh, the dialogue doesn't do anything, so I skipped it. Well, maybe if you listen to the dialogue, you might have followed the plot more, but I don't know. I digress.
Off twice to fight Darth Vader twice and not mention it later. Meet a toddler Princess Leia that Princess Leia fails to mention later. And the Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi had a real hard time getting through a gate he could clearly walk around. And Ahsoka being alive to usurp Luke Skywalker's story. In other words, it's on brand for modern Disney.
Wait, how does Ahsoka usurp Luke's story? How's that? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I never understood that. Do you understand that argument, T-Bone? I heard the argument. I just think it's a stretch. I think it's just far out. Okay.
She has her own story she's doing.
Lucasfilm. Anyway, Soul and Jedi Master Nepo devise a plan to once again use OSHA as bait to draw out May. And this brings us to the most poignant scene in all of the Acolyte, the use of pronouns in live.
Kyla Bone, thank you for Super Chat. I really hate how people don't have a personal relationship with a piece of media anymore. They just parrot any opinions they see online, and people like Nerdrotic thrive because of this. Yeah. And that's something I want to accomplish with this stream and the video I'm going to post next.
I have to steel man Nerdrotic here. There is a reason his content is so appealing to people. Okay. People hate this Disney stuff. Maybe if Disney made better products like Andor, they wouldn't get so much hate. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. He brings up Star Wars theory, who doesn't like Andor either. So that's quite an interesting conundrum there.
Next week when I finish all of it. And again, just so you know, this video will be incorporated into that stream. So this stream will be incorporated in that video. Strike that versa. And we'll be going to that too. But the problem is, I think we're going to see a lot of the same talking points echoed in the reviews we watch after this. Now, I want to stop a second and talk about this.
Okay, so he has a video planned. He's doing these streams, I guess, to preempt or maybe promote, probably a little bit of both, promote this video that he's going to be doing against Star Wars reviewers. Let's see how this goes over. He's making statements. Let's see if he does a better job of putting his statements out there. So, yeah, I probably let the stream go on a little bit longer than I would like, but things are as how they are. Timon, I need to start getting the habit of closing it out, letting you push your stuff or say any end credit stuff. Timon, want to do anything like that? Upcoming streams, a GoFundMe to get a new vibrator, or have you just fallen asleep, man? Okay. Might have fell asleep, guys. Let's be real quiet. Gonna end the stream on a quiet note. So for everyone watching this now, thank you for coming. And for everyone in the future, have a good night. Bye-bye.